Yo guys, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? We're back in here. I know it's been a while, obviously, because the Euros has obviously made things super tricky to get this whole thing back up and running. But say, you know what, because since guys have been looking for it and so forth, we say, look, man, let's come back and just, have a nice, good old chit chat, man. So, look, man, like in this What's podcast, man, we just talk about stuff, man. Whatever interesting topics that we can get our teeth into, we try and do that. So, Red, man, how have you been, man? How was your
Man, I've been great, man. I've been great, to be honest with you. Things are starting to open up here, like pretty much. I know I said this like 2 weeks ago, but like it is trying to get back to normalcy, especially right now with all the football we've been getting. Basketball playoffs. A lot of sporting events have been happening, so like we've been pretty occupied. And like here, it's starting to get sunny. Like the weather's actually pretty amazing. So like I've been enjoying just being able to go out again. Like
oh no, it's critical because I went out. I think it was either yesterday or 2 days ago, because it was when England played against Scotland, and just seeing just how restaurants have just opened up and just how things are just opened up. Because obviously, if you go to restaurants, you've got to just sort of scan this whole app thing to make sure that you're free and so forth. But yeah, the amounts of people that are just now in restaurants. Because I think in the UK has vaccinated a lot of people. Obviously there are a lot of still anti-vaxxers and so forth, but I think a lot of guys have gotten vaccinated, hence why things are opening up. Because you see, Monday was supposed to be the day that UK fully opened up. But scientists have been saying to Boris Johnson that, chill. Because if you open up and everything, because apparently there's this like new COVID variants that's around. So said that if you open up on Monday, it could cause like another spike and so forth. So just chill out, relax on the opening up. So I think we're now going to be delayed till I think July 14th or 15th instead. But it's like
which is better, to be honest with you. Just like because if they open up things too soon, it could lead to another lockdown. So just like take it slow. I don't mind. Like at this point, we're used to it. We'll slowly build back up to it. But like
no. But the issue is that there's so many. First of all, I think the people that hated the lockdown, the people that think COVID is a hoax, that COVID has been overblown. So there are guys that are saying, look, man, open stuff up. Because I think London, a big part of London is clubbing. And obviously, if you can't have masses of people going to the clubs are losing a lot of money. So like a club is in the club if you can only have like half capacity or so forth.
Yeah.
Because you have to take into account the cost of the drinks, the food, and everything. And
the vibe is always better when it's crowded. When you go in there and there's people, there's a lot. And plus, the thing is like, to be honest with you, like from my experience with clubs is that, and like at least in my city, like there's only 2 or 3 like consistent clubs. The rest of them always get shut down and reopen under new brand names. And like, so I'm not too concerned about that. Like I personally think that like just opening up for people to go out, just to be out in the sun, to get their serotonin, to be like, it's good for your mental health. It's good for you.
Yeah, like there was one time in England, I'm sure even guys in the chat who may be from London, it was a really hot day in London one time, like must have been 27 or 28 Celsius. And I was like, because really I'm from a hot country, in Nigeria, so I'm more accustomed to hot weather than I'm freaking cold. Because basically cold weather freezes. I told you my kryptonite is cold weather. That is what freezes my balls off bad. But yeah, but like I was like, it's also I said I had to basically take off my shirt and just like, look, man, bring on the heat, because see, I've always said that what is the use of cold weather? Apart from throwing snowballs, which I don't personally do, what benefits do cold weather has above hot weather?
I have one big reason. I'm not
don't
gonna
say
lie.
Ice hockey. Don't say ice hockey.
No. Who cares about that? No. Like I'm talking about no offense to people who like it, but like no insects. There's no bugs. There's no animals. Like it's like you literally could go sit outside and like if you're properly equipped and everything, you won't have any bugs around. You won't have any like mosquitoes. You won't have any like bites or anything at all. Like it's just what you see is what you get.
You say no bites, but you could get frost bites. Because remember, I watched this is this is what scared the crap out of me. I can't remember what film it was. There was this film where
Mr. Deeds.
No. Because it's based on a true story where I think these group of white dudes, or I think that basically this group of white people, they went to like the Alaska or North Pole for some kind of trekking thing, and I think that they somehow got stuck there and everything. And they were stuck in the freezing cold. And in the end of the day, they had frostbite. So once they eventually got found and everything, they had to sever their legs
Yep.
because I was like, oh my God. I could see that frightens the heck out of me.
Yeah,
That's
but like,
where you have frostbite, so where literally the blood and everything just your legs pretty much are like
that's it, it's
stone.
done. Yeah, like no, the thing is like I'll be honest with you, it's just like chainsaw actually hit it on the head. Like for me, the hot weather, like the reason why I don't like it that much, it's not because of during the day. During the day, it's amazing. I love going out and like experiencing it. It's, let's say, when you want to go to sleep, right? Let's say if like you don't have proper air conditioning or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You get sweaty, you know, the bugs are around you. Like it could be just hell. You can't sleep when you're hot. Like everything is sticky, everything is sweaty. Whereas in the cold, you just get 2 blankets, snuggle up in your bed, and just like sit there. Like you'll eventually fall asleep. And when you wake up, it's heavenly. Like, yes, it's freezing outside, but like when you wake up, you're just like, your bed is so warm, everything is so nice. I don't know, that's just me personally.
Yeah, no. But see, I think I just think for me personally, like there are bad sides to both, but I would rather basically I can cope with the difficulties of the heat with the bugs, the hard to sleep at night, rather than literally you're freezing your balls off, you can hardly move, and I can't wear sandals because I like wearing shorts, sandals, t-shirts, and so forth. And I can't wear that in cold weather, man. So I mean, before we even go to topics, so general thoughts on the Euros, man.
To be honest with you, I think this has been a very good Euros. I think so far, like we've gotten some like amazing goals. There's a lot of breakthrough talent because like I usually view whatever players that usually pop. Like people always ask me like why I troll and like for example players like Lukaku, because I judge players based off of their international tournaments because that gives me a good metric who's going to be good for the next 2 or 3 seasons till the next tournament, right? And that's where I get it. So I usually look at that, like when you see like Isaac, what he did with Sweden, how amazing he was.
He looks so good, man.
He looks so good. So like somebody like that is just like, and that's why I love these kind of tournaments because they give these kind of players that don't get the recognition they deserve. Like look at Syria. Syria is getting a lot more love nowadays because you see a lot of.
No. Because again, and I think because we used to like clown this Syria. Oh my God, the Syria is trash. No one cares. But look at how good Italy are. Like everyone has agreed that Italy have been one of the best teams, and the bulk of their players play in Italy.
Yep. And what about Gosens? Gosens plays for an Italian club. Yeah. You look at like there's a lot of like Syria actually has the most goal scores in the Euros. Like Syria players.
So yeah.
Yep. So like I'm looking at it. I'm like so that's why I thought this Euros has been so good. Personally for me, the teams that I've been impressed by, I've been very, very, very impressed by Germany. Like Germany for me, like even let's say for example, when they lost to France, I feel like if Germany can avoid France, they do actually have a real shot at winning this whole thing. I don't see a lot of teams that could really stop Germany. They're just a very well balanced, well-oiled machine.
But that's why I think that's why that Hungary game was so interesting because it opens everything up.
Yep.
Because I think that because you saw what Hungary could do against France, France aren't this kind of like scary, fearsome beast that people should be fearful of because anything can happen. So from Chainsaw, thank you, man. First job, love the podcast. Thank you, bro.
My guy.
We're hopefully growing, man. Copa America, man. Will Messi do it this year?
Look, Messi was playing like a madman in that last game against Uruguay. Like
He's
I saw,
balling.
like he was like this was Messi that I wanted to see for Argentina for the past since 2014. Because let's be honest, in 2015 and 2016, in those Copas, like Messi was good, but he wasn't Barca Messi good. In 2018, he was just not good. Like, don't lie to yourselves. Last year in the Copa, he was not good. Nobody tell me otherwise. He was average. He was good by the regular football standards, but not good by Messi standards. Which Messi has his own standards, and we just have to live with that. But the last game, Messi was doing it all. Like. I like this Argentina team, and I really think they could go they could actually win it. Like this could be his year to win the Copa America. But even with put all of that aside, like I'm actually all this has done. HH is getting me hyped for the World Cup next year. This is all it's going to be in winter. That's the issue, man. I don't know about a winter thing. That's I mean, this is FIFA and UEFA. This is what happens when you have one organization that runs everything, and like they benefit directly. They make these dumb decisions because now they have a.
I mean, because this to be clear here. I have no issue with a country having it. It's just that. So this is nothing against Qatar having it. It's just. It's supposed to be in the summer. That's what it's about. It's like because people in the summer, they have summer holidays. Summer, you're free. Most times in the world, it's warm.
it's party time. Nobody
Yeah,
has
it's about
school. Nobody has everything. Because that's what it is. You watch the game. Look, I'm 100% against Qatar. HH. We have to be realistic, right? Not against Qatar as a country. Obviously, I don't want to disrespect people, but like, I mean, like, if you live in a desert region, you don't have the facilities to really host a football tournament. Why are you forcing it? You caused slave labor in Qatar, which killed a lot of killed a lot of Asians, man. A lot of Asians have passed away because of the harsh work conditions that they're working in, right? You essentially just you're now having to change the entire format to the winter time, which I don't even know how that's even going to work, to be honest with you.
It's wild.
Like I really don't know, like, because like, so like it's going to be in winter, so people are going to travel like mid-year. Like what if you're like a teacher? Or like and you're a football fan.
It's basically it's super inconvenience. The whole like why did they even do it in the summer to begin with? Because summer is just the most inconvenient time. But look, that's digress. Let's get into the meaty thing. So our first thing, man, gender neutrality. So I think we sort of touched upon this like sort of last week, but I just thought we should like go into this in a little bit deeper. So look, my thing here is this, and this all came through Demi Lovato saying that she is gender neutral, because he read this is where I always start with stuff. You can be whatever you want to be, as long as what you're doing isn't harming people or putting people in danger. You can be whatever the hell you want to be. I don't have to accept it. That's the key thing. You can't bully me or make me feel guilty for not accepting what you are. So my thing with gender neutrality is that if someone is born with, let's say, a penis and a vagina, it is what it is. That's how you are born. So you cannot put that person in a box or either being male or female if you were born and brought into the world with a male organ and a female organ. If you grew up as a female with female organs and grew up as with male and a male organ, that's what you are now. Here is the discrepancy here. Like I use the example of Larry Wachowski, who is now Lana Wachowski now, where when obviously she grew up, she grew up as a guy, but she said, look, everything I did lends more towards the female side. Everything, how I thought, the things I was into and so forth went through the female side, but society just forced me to be a man because that's how I was born to. But they no, I am a woman. I'm just not a man. So I was just born into the wrong body. I'm like, for me, I respect that, because you've now made a choice of like, no, I am fully a woman. What I find weird is you pretty much just wake up one day and say, no, I am he and she. I am gender neutral, and therefore I've got pronouns. So I think, because I can't remember who it was. I think there was one, because I think we were doing like a hangout amongst people, and I think that they said that in a classroom or so forth, you have to have a pronoun. So he, she, they, and so forth. And I'm like, look, that's why I'm sorry, that's wild. So I now have to refer to you as they. How does that work? Because my thing is like, you can't wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm a man and a woman now, because I feel like it's no. But Red, no. The fact is, you are a tomboy. You are a woman who may have male tendencies. That doesn't mean that you're male and female. That means that you are female, but the women who you would call tomboys, who may have male tendencies, but to say, you know what, I want to be known as they. Because the fact of the matter is this. It has not been scientifically proven. It's not a medical term of where, hey, this person, when they're 26 or 25, can wake up one day and scientifically they can be a man and a woman. And now you have to now view them as a man. It's like, because see, if we just, things are becoming like the Wild West right now. Because see, if I now say this, you're like, oh my gosh, you're being disrespectful. The world has changed. The world isn't as simple as this. Yeah, I know the world isn't black and white. I know 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in this world. But there are some things that just have to be. Like, I'm one of those believers that, I think the father has to provide.
Is and isn't. Like that's what you have to have clear definitions. I understand what you say 100%. Here's what I think it is. Here's what my opinion on this whole like movement that's been happening over the past decade, really, or even 20 years, if you really want to go back and stretch it. But what has happened, HH, is that we have reached a point in society where physique or the things that generally differentiated men from women is that men typically were more the more physical, right? The more how can I say this? The decision makers, the harsher, because they didn't really have the emotional intelligence. Where women were more the caregivers, that you know, like you said, providers and caregivers, right? Now we've reached a point of human society and evolution where we don't need that anymore. We everything is automated, everything is machine ordered, right? So people are having identity issues, right? So you could be a woman, a very like effeminate woman who likes men and likes all this stuff, but because of the gender norms of females and women, that you fight back against that. So you have that kind of pushback where you believe that, you know what, no, I'm not a woman. I don't want to define myself as a woman because I don't want to be a caregiver. I don't want to be, let's say, for example, overly sympathetic or have this emotional tension. No, I'm gender neutral. Or they might not have those feelings in them and believe that, oh, because I don't have these in me, then I'm not a woman. Like what I'm saying, I am gender neutral. Or if you're a man and you're overly emotional, or if you're a man who's very, let's say, flamboyant or anything like that, you're like, well, I'm not like a gender norm according to what men in society believes me to do, so I'm gonna be neutral. It's all mostly like when it comes to this stuff, I feel like it's all identity. And in all honesty, like how can we approach it is that here's the thing, HH, is first of all, always call people by their name. Don't use pronouns. When I'm talking, when I address you, I say HH. You have a name. You have a name that you told me. This is my name.
What if I'm a stranger? You don't know me, and you're like, oh, you can just say that. You just say, yeah, he told me or she told me.
Right. So like in that sense,
because Red, that is a leap that I'm not sure I can see. Red, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be fully honest with you right now. I don't think I'm capable of referring to someone as they. I don't know whether that makes me a bad person and so forth. It's not being disrespectful. I cannot mentally reach a point where I refer to someone as they. So if, let's say, a gender neutral person said blah blah and I say, because I will say no, she. And if you take that as an insult, I'm sorry, but I cannot refer to you as they. My mind can't go there. That's so wild. Wait, let me just bring in some of these jobs. So
go ahead.
From your boy Adash, thank you for the job. FIFA are ruining 90 years of summer tradition. Adash, but it's as Red just said, it's about money. It's stupid because the World Cup is something that, for me, it is something that we wait for every single 4 years, and it is a special thing, specifically because it's in the summer. It's where the sun is shining. You can go out, and what's it called? We have something in the UK. I'm sure you guys have it. It's called Box Park. So it's like a complex, but it's on the outside. So it's a complex. So you have massive screens, but they're like no windows. So basically, you're basically like watching stuff with the sun beating down on you. And like, so I went to the Box Park in 2018, and it was amazing. Just watching football in the sun and everything. So that aspect of watching football in the sun with your sandals and so forth is now gone because this will not take place in the winter. And it's all because of money. Let's be real. It's because of cash.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it teaches, like, for me, I'll tell you, every single memorable summer in my life was a World Cup summer. Like, I remember summer of 2006 like it was yesterday. That's how amazing the 2006 World Cup was. Just to see after the games when people just go out celebrating, cars go around, like just the
those
atmosphere.
Summers are always amazing.
You stay up to like 3 a.m.
Amazing.
Like, as a kid, 12 or 13 years old, you stay up to like 3 a.m. because the game. Like, the summers was just made by the World Cup. It is a summer event. It is not a winter event, and they are like this World Cup is. I don't think it's going to do very well. I'll be honest with you. I think we're going to have another 2010 on our hand where it's not going to do very well. I really don't feel like it because the 2010 was one of those World Cups as well where it's like.
So let me just. So this is an interesting one. I'm from Andaras. Thank you for the dope. This is HH. What about a biological woman who are born with equal or more testosterone than estrogen? What do you consider them? No, okay. I mean, but before you go there, see, this is different from the Demi Lovato situation because the keyword you use there is born. So people, that's the keyword. People who are born that way, all right, I have to accept that no, you are something that is different from either the male or the female, because scientifically, biologically, from inception, you are born that way. What is different is, no, you were born as a woman. You live your life as a woman. Now, if you want to now become a man, cool. What is too much that for me to take is like, you've lived most of your life as a woman, and you now want to now do a hybrid of, you know what, I'm neither a man or a woman, I am both. That's
No, like that's the thing is like, because there are when it comes to biological,
because I was going to say like that's psychotic. But am I being rude me calling that psychotic?
Yeah, no, like it's not that you're being rude, HH. It's that it is low key kind of insensitive. Because here's the thing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No. You don't have to apologize, because like we don't know. The thing is, this is all new to us, right? Like this is all being thrown at us, and like these celebrities don't make things like Demi Lovato is 100% doing this for attention. I 100% believe that Demi Lovato, she's not
all
doing
those guys in freaking Hollywood because you're bored. You have nothing to. Okay, no, wait. Hold up, Red. Hold up. And I think this is a conversation that I had with Daniel, because we were actually discussing this on our Talking Tactics Extra thing. She was I think she's suffering from mental depression and some mental illness and stuff. And I think some really messed up stuff happened to. I think she had some very, very messed up stuff happen to her in her past. So again, hence why, okay, I want to be respectful and stuff. So my thing is, this decision she's making may be linked into the stuff that she's gone through in her past. So, but sorry, go on, man. What do you say?
No, like here's the thing. I have experience with a transgender. My dentist when I was a kid in Syria, he was transgender now. But here's the situation. This is actually a real life story. So he's an orphan, right? Now, when he was born, he was like sort of adopted into his uncle's family, but like the problem is, how can I say, like, it's I don't really know exactly how but they did not know his gender. He had like he was almost a hermaphrodite. He had a very like I guess he had a micro penis essentially, and but he was growing up his whole life as a woman. Like they thought he was a girl. That's how it was. Nobody really looked at him because obviously they're not his parents and yada yada yada. So he was a female. Up until he was 18, 19 years old, he was always thought of himself. Nobody educated him. There was no sex education. And he just grew up, and like as a woman, you know, like in back home, like they wear the abaya, they wear like a hijab, so they're not very like, so you don't get to see their like female physique. He didn't really have a female physique. And he was taking estrogen, which really fucked with his body even more. And eventually, he actually got to like, once he got into like, he was studying for grade 12, that's when he started like sort of questioning it and coming into it. And then like when he saw a doctor, they were like, this guy is a man. I believe like at that point, like it became more clear, and he transitioned. He started taking testosterone, and he became a man. And this is back home in Syria. Obviously over there, they're not really equipped to deal with these kind of situations. This is not a very common thing that just kind of happens, but this person was very unfortunate, and that's how they ended up like just through like unfortunate circumstances where, because he didn't have adults around him, his parents weren't around, nobody, so he didn't know really about gender properly, and ended up being mistaken for, because some people will be like, well, you either have a penis or you have a vagina, right? But like, what if you're living in a society where that is not openly discussed, right? Like, and like it's not like really brought up, and like you don't know, you know. He ended up being like that, and now like he did my siblings' braces, and like he did some checkups on me. But I remember to this day, like when I would go and talk to him, he was always weird for me because he speaks like a woman, like his characteristics. Like I remember like the first time when he came in, like when my mom took us to the dentist, like he went and he was holding onto like the door sill like this, and he was like, "Hi, oh that's your son. He's so cute." Like he's like talking like sort of that in that kind of way. Where this is when I like it was very bizarre to me, but like that was my first like sort of interaction with a transgendered person. But like I understood then, because I remember like I would joke with my mom. Was very old school and very conservative.
Wait, how old were you?
At that point, I think I was in the 7th grade. I was like 7th or 8th grade, probably. I was like 13, 14 years old.
Okay, yeah, because we don't really do that, because I don't really understand. So 7th grade is 13.
Yeah, no, because like the reason why I remember why the reason why I went, because I had a lisp, right? When I was a kid, I had a lisp. Okay. I used to always have a lisp. So I didn't like my teeth are all natural. I never need braces or anything. So I was very lucky. But my older sibling needed that. But like when I actually went,
no, I had. Oh no, I just got a horrible story with the braces because like
You
I
had
obviously needed
braces like
braces. Yeah, but I had braces that were in the inside of my mouth, and for some reason, because this is when I was living in Geneva, so I had braces in the inside of my mouth and stuff, and then because I left Switzerland and everything, the braces just they stayed there and they never got addressed. And my God, one of the most harrowing experiences of my life is having to remove these braces
that is tough.
because it had broken. So they had to, even thinking about it now is because they had to just go in and really, oh my God, in heaven.
No, teeth is the worst, guys.
Oh
always
my
check a
God.
dentist. Go to a dentist routinely. Do not avoid these kind of problems because
and brush twice.
Brush twice a day. Yeah,
brush
absolutely.
Brush
twice a day. Like, do not take care of your teeth, guys, because nothing is worse than teeth pain. Nothing. It is. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't do anything.
I'm not sure you guys in the live show whether you guys have seen Castaway. Have you seen Castaway?
Yeah, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when he yanks out his tooth?
Yeah.
Remember the scene? Oh my God,
bro. This is why Tom Hanks is goated, is because I cringe to this day. Like, I haven't watched that movie in like 10 years, and I still cringe at that scene. No, man. Like, the thing is like, but I just want to go back to my point real quick. So that, like, my first interaction is because he actually went to go check to see if maybe my teeth were a bit back, and that's why it was causing my lisp. But I say all that to say is that we never know what's going on with people. So like when you want to address people by, let's say, these pronouns and everything, it's okay to be a little bit understanding. Sorry, can you hear me, H?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The mistake. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. But I was gonna say it's okay to be a little bit understanding of people, and because like at the end of the day, I really don't, as long as it's not, like, how can I say this, interfering with I'll go into details, but as long as it's not like interfering with anybody else's personal freedom, it's okay. Like it's, if you're just passing somebody in public and let's say you say, "Excuse me, sir," and he goes like, "It's ma'am. My bad, ma'am. I apologize. What can I help you with?" You know, it's just like, so like in passing, we don't really have to turn everything into an argument. We could just, like, you know, let these people sort of go through whatever they're going through. We never know what people are going through.
No, but let me, because I just been in my head because it's because that's why I asked, like, how old were you when you met somebody who you said was like a. So are you saying that they were a transvestite? Or
I think they were a transvestite. I think they were like a hermaphrodite. I think it's hermaphrodite. So, hermaphrodite. Yeah.
You see, my thing about this is that, I've always said I don't give a damn who or what you are, as long as you're not harming anyone. I don't give a damn. But my thing is, I don't know how I would react because I've never met a hermaphrodite or a transvestite in real life. I've sort of basically where I've actually had a conversation. It's sort of been in passing. But I'm not. Basically, there is this. I've forgotten this because there's this journalist who was for ESPN FC, Italian, and then there were a guy to begin with.
Oh yeah. I remember that. It was like 2 years ago when he transitioned. Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, because every time I see it, like, it's hard for me to get my head around it. It's just that I reject it, but I'm like.
For us, it's incomprehensible for us because you can't understand that. I'm the same. Like, it's like,
yeah, because people have to understand. See, I grew up in Nigeria, and when you grow up in Nigeria, we have strong religious values. So it is drilled into our heads: man, woman, this, that, blah, 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 blah. So obviously, when I first came to England, and I just saw how people were acting, it was a massive culture shock.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh geez, this is how guys operate and everything. I remember even now when I saw, like, you know, men kissing in public for the first time, I was like, whoa. Because it's something that is completely not, it doesn't even exist in Nigeria. Because of course there are gay people that exist in Nigeria, but the way that Nigeria presents itself
in the common, because like it's the same thing in Syria. In Syria, like there's gay guys. Like there's guys that I had in school. You'd be like, this guy's definitely like he's not. But like it's just not. It's not something like. But to be fair, in Nigeria as well, or in Syria, you don't see heterosexual couples kissing or groping in public either. Sex is more of a behind in general, but like it's extra taboo when you see people of the same sex that are doing that. But like what I'm saying, like, just to say, to respond to some people in the chat, you don't have to do anything. Well, when I say what I'm saying, my point is that in any situation there's always nuance. right? There are situations where we don't know what the person is going through. Like that person could very much well want to be just a normal person like me and you, but just through circumstance, through life, just through, let's say, if his parents messed him up and gave him estrogen, and like now he's overly effeminate, and now he has a lot of he questions himself a lot, like because obviously you take hormones. If you take testosterone, you're gonna be more aggressive. If you take estrogen, you're gonna be more emotional. Like this is proven to affect us. You don't know what kind of identity crisis people can go through. What kind of so that's when I say whenever you're dealing with people, if the situation isn't really that big of a deal and it's just a passing thing, just let it happen. Don't feed it too much, because when we make this topic controversial, you have people like Demi Lovato who will use it for attention. Because I'm telling you, I don't buy what she's selling. Because here's the problem.
So you believe that she's faking it, or she's just using it for attention? I mean, where? Because
here's my issue with
I don't know who
this woman.
I don't know who this lady is. All I know is that because I've never. Wait, is she a singer?
Yeah, she's an artist.
I've never heard any of her songs before. Yeah, I've never. I just keep on seeing her trending on Twitter, but I've never heard any of her music or anything like that. So,
she's the type. Like, here's the thing: is like I'm not like I've maybe heard a couple of her songs. I don't really know her as a person, or like as her philanthropy, or what she does, or anything like that. I don't know any of that. I just see what's presented. But she's the type that's always been part of outrage culture. Like part of a huge proponent of cancel culture. Like, for example, just last month, she went after this small business in LA because they had pro dietary products. They had some fattening products. They sell frozen yogurt and diet for people who are trying to have diets. They sell that kind of. So they went in there and they had candy there, and she went and blasted them and said how they're so bad. They're anti-healthy lifestyles. She's just blasting this poor business. And the business was like, what are you talking about? These are all healthy snacks. And then she was like, well, you guys should have had better labels. But I just don't I really, really don't like people that try to go after other people's well-being, their money. But I don't like that. I feel like that's a very, very slimy thing. But I think she's done that multiple times, and that's why I don't find that she's genuine. She just tries to be a harbinger of equality in that way, but it's all misguided just to get attention.
But listen, I mean, I think that when you look at people like a Demi Lovato or so forth, or people of this ilk, the danger is the people that feed it. You see, if you're ignored, then you won't keep on doing anything. What makes indulging? If you indulge someone, they'll keep on doing it. And I think the issue we have in society right now are people continue to indulge. And if you continue to indulge, we're not going to head towards a slippery slope where red is like the wild, wild west. True. Right now, you can say you are anything, you can be anything, do whatever, and so forth. Because I think where we are going right now is there are no checks and balances. And hey, I can be whatever I want to be. But it's like, I say the key to life is you have to have a balance. And extremity in any direction is problematic. You can be too nice. Being too nice is a problem. It is not good to be too nice. So this whole thing of, and I was a guy who I thought I was liberal. I am still. I am. You see, I don't even know whether I can say that I'm liberal or not. But let's say I have liberal views. But what we're saying is an extremity of the liberal movement.
But what they're doing is not liberal.
No. But
they're enforcing more rules onto people. That's not liberty.
No. But the guys, whether it's true or not, the guys that they're using is we are liberal. That's the guys. Whether it's true or not, that's just the guys. We just use that label for the discussion. So these kind of extreme liberals, what you're doing is extreme, and your extremity has now turned into bullying and enforcement. Because what you have to realize is this. It goes back to my original point. I am not insulting what you are but you can't force me to accept it. But what's the other thing? That if I don't accept it, I am disrespecting you, which doesn't make sense. I can still respect you, but not accept you. But don't accept what you're giving. So for me, I'm sorry, I can't accept someone that is gender neutral because, Red, I swear to you, for the last 2 weeks, since Demi, because since she made that decision, I have been researching, looking and say, look, is this a medical term? Is this a medical reality? Is this actively true? And I've gone on to NHS, I've gone on to medical sites. I say, what is this? And all I've seen is people say you shouldn't really discriminate against people who say they're gender neutral. You should listen and you should empathize. I say, cool. I need a professor or a doctor that comes in and says
there's no condition. It's all mental.
Okay, Red.
Highlight Killer Hustle's comment. Highlight. He has a comment. But go ahead.
If it's mental, Red, cool. You cannot tell me how I want to think. Cool. Mm-hmm. Red, I can say that I believe that I am Kal-El, the last son of Krypton. I am the last son of Krypton. Red,
I have to respect you.
You have to respect my film, but Red, you don't have to accept it.
No, 100%. No,
but what Demi Lovato is not saying is that I am Kal-El, the last son of Krypton, and Red, you have to call me Kal-El, the last son of Krypton. And if you don't refer to me as Kal-El, the last son of Krypton, you're being discriminatory and you're being disrespectful.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, actually, we could actually spin that into like a political thing, is where we could just do like. You could in a postmodern world that we're in right now, where people don't really need rhyme or reason for anything, where they're just trying to go up against power. They will literally just try to justify anything.
They're bored, man.
They're way too bored. But I told you it's a lack of identity. But that's why I want to highlight Killer Hustle's comment. I'm going to read it out just because he.
All right, let me try and bring it up. Yeah.
Because this is one thing that I do agree with. I think that. It's all about the kids. That's really what it is. It's the precedent for the kids. It's not for what it does to us, right? I'm going to read it out loud just for everybody so they know what we're talking about. The problem becomes when they push these agendas aggressively and little kids are being programmed. That's what I have issue with. I agree with Killer Hustle. That's actually spot on. But the problem is, my brother, is that it's not just this agenda. It's how did we get here? What led us to this point right here? You look at commercials. You look at what the kids are being fed nowadays. Like, you do know that like Coke like has so much sugar in it. Like it's literally as bad as smoking for you.
No, Red. Man, I love that you went there. You see, I may have my issues with Christiana and so forth, and I don't care whether it was okay because people say, "Oh, Christiana was only doing it because Coke didn't cut the check for him." I don't care. The fact that matters that somebody that's influential said this trash called Coke. No. Multigain is great, by the way. No, Multigain. But this trash called Coke, put this trash down because Coke is poison. You see, for me, I can't remember the last time I drank Coke. And this was a kid who, in Nigeria, I would take a bottle of Coke and just go.
Yep.
Guys, and this is to everyone in the live chat right now. Anything you buy or drink, it's very simple. Take it and just turn around and look at the ingredients. You have to look at what is going into your body because obviously, whether it's like the FDA or something, by law, you have to state every single thing.
But they're all bought off. They're all bought off. You actually have to for example, like even right now, if anybody's wondering what I'm snacking on, just peanuts, just regular peanuts, unsalted, nothing, just regular peanuts and water. That's it. Like
M&Ms.
Oh, bro, that's quality. But in the peanut M&Ms too, that's quality.
Oh, bro. No. This is the greatest snack of all time. Okay, this is the greatest snack of all time.
Absolutely. Like, but here's my thing, though. Here's my thing is like when you eat like all these corporations that sell us this stuff. You're talking about kids that brainwashing the little kids. What led us to this point? We're a society that's led by morals that's given to us by corporations. Corporations aren't here to give you morals and structure and make you a better person. They're here to make you a better consumer to buy, right? So when they come and pander to you with gender neutral or all this stuff, they're pandering to anybody just because they're just trying to sell products. That's all it is. It's all a lie. It's all a guise. But what I want to say is, don't ever take it out on the human, on the individual, on the nuance, because some people are misguided. And you pushing back, and what Chainsaw said earlier about like extreme conservatism led us here. It's true. It's because if I come at you and I come at you with from an aggressive point of view, you as a man will not accept that. You'll be like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. Talk to me with respect, or you're going to push back against me just because of the way I approached you. Right? Not even just as a man, like as a human being. Nobody likes to be punked. Right?
Sorry, yeah, and bro, you're right. You're right. You see, this dude here, you're so right. Because my thing is that, because I saw to myself that, wait a minute, if a company is putting harmful trash, they can easily get around and just not put it on there. But my point is, that's right. Turn over and look at what's in Coke. Droxychloroquine, Scontoriga, smack, crack, whack, glue.
The amount of sugar that's in them. Just the sugar. Forget everything else. Just the amount of sugar that's in that drug. Bro, too much sugar, too much fat actually leads to lower level of testosterone. That's like too much. If you consume too much fat, it's horrible for your bones and teeth. You're gonna be very frail. It's a horrible diet, and the problem is that people that we live in, a lot of us have been born into a world that's always had Coke, right? Coke has been out since like the 1920s. Soda's been out. We've been born into worlds that have always had these drinks. We think it's normal, but the human body is not built for consuming this much of this garbage products. I'm not saying don't drink Coke. If you're like having a pizza with the boys, you have a bottle, drink that. You're having that on occasion. Sure, in moderation.
Right. Sometimes a really cold Coke.
It hits the spot. No, it hits the spot. It's fine. We can say that. But HH. A Cuban cigar is sometimes nice. You know, when you're on vacation, you just want to have a nice, like smoke a nice Cuban cigar. It's nice, but like at the same time, we're not marketing Cuban cigars to children. We're not telling Cuban cigars drink Coke and you'll be like Cristiano Ronaldo. We're not saying that. Like what these companies do, they market these drinks and these like even Gatorade and all this stuff. They tell them like, oh, kids, like, oh, look, your favorite athlete's doing that. But meanwhile, the Gatorade bottle that they have has water inside of it. That's why the Gatorade bottle is not like transparent, because they know that this stuff is not good for taking care of your body, especially if you want to perform or be at the elite level. Like, and I'm not just saying this about like just Coke and water. All I really don't want to go too much. I'm talking about like corporations and the way they brand their morals to us, right? The way they in how they just try to make you a better consumer. It's all it is, and that's where you get all these identity politics. All this stuff is just. I went on a huge tangent and I really mixed everything up, but like I had a bit more structure. It makes more sense, trust me. But
sorry, no. But what's the call? It's like if Ronaldo did the coach, it doesn't matter whether he did stuff for before. All that matters is
right now.
What he's done is right now. What he's done is extremely powerful and extremely important, because if Cristiano, for whatever reason it may be, it doesn't matter what your reasons are. Like all that matters is the message. Forget about the message. The message. If the message you're putting out is kids, don't drink Coke, drink water, that's huge. Because what's Cristiano doing that is far more powerful than any advert. Like Red, how can I make an advert to convince kids to drink water over Coke?
They've spent millions of dollars and it hasn't worked. The thing is like
how do I make drinking water cool or sexy?
You can't. You know what the funny thing is I went out. It's kind of funny because like
sorry. And the only way you can do it, not cool. The only way you can do it is if you drink water, you can be like Cristiano, your hero.
Yep,
that's what works.
Is this association? Like if I do A, I'll get B.
Boom.
Right? It's like that's
association. Sorry, go on.
But what I was gonna say is like the thing is just like just on that note is first of all, like a lot of people like when they're getting on to like, let's be honest, like I didn't know Coke was that bad for us. Like I would drink Coke all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like you drink like you know it's sugar, it's fattening, yeah, but you're like, yeah, whatever. Like you don't really know. And the thing is, especially if you're like Cristiano Ronaldo, when he did that ad, I believe when he was like 20 years old or 19 years old, he did that ad. Like he's a kid that came from Madeira that's poor, and he got an ad from Coke like, you know what, here, come sponsor our product. You drink it, you like it.
The guy was like,
he's gonna take it, but like once you know and you still advertise, that's when I feel like, okay, you're different. You really are disconnected from humanity. All you care about is money.
It's like perfect example is I used to always McDonald's was like my everyday meal. KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, because I knew no better than it's funny because of Pamela Anderson. She's not just a big pair of tits. She did like a thing showing you how KFC is made and how the animals are treated and what's goes into it. And then when I say, oh my gosh, how unhealthy fast food is crazy. And knowing that now made me learn cooking from my mom. So about 80% of the food I eat is what I cook. So I go out and buy the food that is either organic and well met. I cook it using olive oil and so forth, and I make it in a healthy way. So I cannot remember the last time I ate fast food. I can't remember, So, but it's like, it's called fast food. Yep. And my thing is that the issue is, how do I convince a poor family or a family where a mother is working 2-3 jobs and everything, and they don't have much income, to spend crazy amounts on whole foods, crazy amounts on well-cooked food, rather than this $3, $4.
Actually, hear me out, H. Hear me out. Actually, it's way more expensive to buy fast food than it is to buy Whole Foods. The difference is time, right? It takes time to cook and all that stuff. But it is because like you,
no, Red. Because I'm a guy that gets Whole Foods.
Yep,
it's more expensive.
No, but like if you let's say for example, let's say you get a thing of pasta, right? Right, that's like, I don't remember the price off the top. I could look them up the price right now. A thing of pasta that should be able to feed a family of 4 or 5, right? If you get like the whole like the string, let's say you get minced meat, right? And you get, let's say, a classico sauce. That's pretty much all you need for to make pasta, right? You want to get maybe like an onion, dice it up, throw it in there to serve it for a little bit of flavor. All of that would probably run you $22, $23, right? You just got a meal, and you're probably gonna have leftovers, right? And you can feed 3 to 4 people. If you were to go to McDonald's or go to like any of these fast food, you're gonna order a meal. A meal is like $8 just for one person. That's not gonna feed you, but that's not gonna be enough for you. If you're gonna get more for 4 people, you're looking at paying $40. Fast food, it's a myth that they're cheap. Like it really is.
But this now goes back to money and time. So I'm a working mom, working 2-3 jobs. I have maybe 2-3 hours of free time and so forth. I probably don't even have time to cook.
Okay.
So my thing is, I've got kids to look out for and everything. By the time I get back, I've got to look after the kids, put them into bed, have a homework, sleep for a few hours. Then I'm up super early for my first work and for my second job. So really, all I can do is, let me just stack up on these Happy Meals and so forth. There's quick food, microwave food. So basically, either these fast foods or these microwave meals. Super unhealthy, but grab it, microwave, boom, here it goes. No. Now I've got to go because it's time. Do I have time to not only cook, but cooking, and I'm a guy that cooks a lot. It's not just you have to cook well. Cooking well takes time and concentration. It takes time. So
now I'll tell you, it's just like for me personally, it's all about the amount of effort that you put into something, the more you'll get out of it. You want health. The more effort you put into your health, the more your body will give you back. So of course it's not easy, but with plan, it's not impossible though. If you plan, let's say for example, if you're a single mother, you go like, you know what, I have to work these kind of shifts. This is my hours, right? So if I go, let's say on Fridays, my day off, I'm gonna cook a big enough meal where you have leftovers for 3 days, right? Leftovers for 3 days. Let's say, for example, you where on the other days, all I have to do is just make rice on the side, which rice is very quick to cook. It doesn't take long to cook rice. Within like half an hour to an hour, you'll have a full set of thing of rice. I'll just make this like side dish where, for example, let's say let me think of like something mloukhiyya, for example. This is a Syrian dish. It's like leaves with chicken in it, or you can put beef or anything like that. Like my mom makes that side, for example, and she makes enough for like 3 to 4 days in advance, and the next 2 days, we'll just make rice on the side, right? Now, obviously, we're going to be busy. It's not going to take that much time, but anybody can make the rice. I can make the rice. She can make the rice. Anybody could, like in the household, could be able to make the rice. And we could set up those kind of meals. But again, it's about planning and effort. You have to put effort in yourself, right? Instead of coming back home and just watching TVs and movies and watching Netflix and stuff like that, the more effort you put into yourself, the more you'll get out of it.
But I think it's like, look, you are right, but
it is hard. I'm not saying it's easy.
No.
It's not easy. You have to put effort.
I'm putting myself away. I'm trying to put myself into the mindset of someone. See, for me, I care about health and I'm very health conscious. So I will always try and do, okay, what is a healthy alternative more so? But for somebody who I don't have time to be health conscious, I simply don't have the time. I remember there are priorities. My priority is I have to get to work. I have to make sure that the work is done well so I keep my job. I've got to make sure that the kids are taken care of and cared for and so forth. These priorities simply are far more important than let me be health conscious, let me cook this. Because my thing is, society, especially in the digital age, is about now, quick. Because I was watching a stand-up. This Asian guy was doing the stand-up and he had like a very funny because he talks about Prime Now. Because Prime Now is something that I use where you can order in the day and it's same day delivery.
Yep.
And he was like, man, everybody wants everything now. And especially with the rise of Amazon and online shopping, speed and quickness and things becoming immediate is now what people demand. People are not taking time. Convenience and speed. Convenience. And, how can I take less time to do this task? And the internet and the way this world is working is, let's keep it real, is breeding a lazy society. Our society is becoming lazy because we are stuck here doing this all the time. Boom, 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 all the time.
And they're trying to save time so they can just watch more stuff on their phone, so they spend up more money just to do nothing, really. It's really just to do nothing. And now, because of that, we also, when we go to the grocery stores, you don't even have groceries anymore. You just have to go do everything yourself.
No, because I think someone, I can't remember who it was. I think it was an actor or someone who said that. So you get up for work and then you sit in your car. And you're sitting in your car to drive to the office. You then go into the office and you're now sitting in your cubicle in your office. You leave your office, you go to sit in your car. You drive back home and you now sit on your sofa on your couch watching TV. And you rinse and repeat.
Yep.
Again.
Yep. No, it's the thing is like I told you, like when you ask yourself why we have these gender neutral, gender pronoun problems, it's because people have too much time on their hand. There's no purpose anymore. People like let me tell you something. I'll tell you this. For the I don't. I mean, this is TMI, but I don't like to masturbate. I don't. It's you're giving yourself unnecessary reward. It is. You're giving yourself dopamine. I don't like to, let's say, for example, listen to too much music or watch too much TV, because again, you're rewarding yourself for nothing. Your brain is not. This is like you need to, as a human being, for you to be like to be fully. I guess like at least as an independent person to be fully able, you have to sort of set up a reward system for yourself, right? When you get back in the day, there was no porn. There was no porn. So men would get their satisfaction from going out, overcoming that fear, asking a woman out, even if they get rejected. They go out once they smash. That's it. They achieved their dopamine. That's you as a man became who you are, right? Nowadays. Oh shit, she's pretty, but I know this porn star that looks like her, goes on their laptop, sits down, winks off,
but you know that it has been proven that masturbation is healthy. Again, too much masturbation can mess you up. So relax. But masturbation in doses is actually it's
I'm talking about from a mental level, right? Like forget health also. I'm talking about rewarding yourself, right? Because again, like if let's say for example, like it's not just about masturbation. I just picked one specific instance where people nowadays they reward themselves. For example, smoking weed. I personally, guys, I smoke. I do. I don't smoke all the time. I don't smoke.
Weed or nicotine? No,
weed. I don't smoke nicotine. I used to smoke cigarettes, but I quit that a long time ago, and thankfully I'm free of that. That's because in Syria, unfortunately, because of tobacco companies, they could advertise anything there, and it's considered cool. But when I came here, it was a disgusting habit, and it took me it was the hardest thing I ever did, but I quit smoking cigarettes, thankfully, and I take care of my body now. But like, but weed. But the thing is that the thing is people always say like, oh, weed is great, it's perfect for you, it's so good for your health, it cures cancer, it does all this shit. It doesn't. It's very bad for you. Weed is good if you want to say, for example, if you complete all your daily duties, you're all done. You went to the gym, you did your job, you cleaned up, you cooked, you cleaned, everything is fine as an adult. You want to go back home, smoke some just before you go to bed, watch some TV. You know what? You earned yourself that. That's fine, right? But if, let's say, for example, you haven't done any of your shit and you just go out there and you're just smoking, you're just rewarding your body for doing nothing. Because smoking is just going to give you dopamine. It's going to give you that relaxation. It's going to release that tension. But you haven't really overcame that problem mentally. You're just rewarding yourself, right? Same. That's what porn is. It gives you a reward for not doing anything. You're rewarding your body for not doing anything. That's what drinking Coke is. You drink, you get the sensation of sugar.
But again, the other side to that is that it's called an addiction. And an addiction is that
it's tough.
I know this is wrong, but I have to do it. There's an urge for me to do it, even if I'm aware of what I'm doing is wrong, because I just have to keep it doing because my body is telling me that, no, you need this. Like you need oxygen, you need this. So for some people, like, it's very hard. Again, that's what I say. You always have to put yourself into the mindset of someone that isn't you. Because I know that, like, I have more self-control and more focus than a lot of other people that don't. So I can't put my personality and my mindset and the way that my brain works into how other people's brain works. So just before we move to the next step, just to close this out, man. So my thing is, and this is just the danger here in the second society thing, we are going to see more of this happening. Because I believe that there is a massive war happening between the ideologies of whether you want to call them the far right or the far left. You see, and what I've realized is that I am a little bit of both. So, and there's aspects of things, okay, you guys who are far right, okay, not everything is woke. Not everything is this kind of conspiracy theory woke, and we'll obviously get started with the whole BLM thing. So, some things you should be sensitive to and so forth. You just can't be hard-headed about everything. But on the other side of it is, you guys can't just read a society where you can be anything and whatever you want to be, and then people have to accept it. That's just wild. Because the society that you want is a society of no rules, where you can just do anything you want. And that's not how the world is built with rules. It's like people say, what is the argument for a creator? The argument, because have you heard of the watchmaker theory?
No.
So basically, this is what we learned in philosophy. So they said that this argument of how there's a creator. So if you look at if you look at those old school watches that people used to wear like in a chain, and if you open it, you see all these machinations inside the watch, and it is highly, highly complex, but they are needed in order for the watch to function. So when you look at the world, there is so much complexity and so much intricacy with regards to how rules work. I mean, look at bees. Like, look at bees taking in the pollen and just the different stages that takes for the bees to take the pollen. So
in this universe is like winning the lottery. The fact that the Earth is the perfect distance away from the sun,
fed rock from the sun.
Literally, the perfect. And the thing is, the perfect distance. Where it was too close, it would be too hot for us to exist. Too far, it would be too cold for us to exist. So the fact that we have a moon that's in perfect unison with the sun that gives us a day and night cycle.
Which is why, like, I've always, and you know what, we may do this for like a third topic after the second topic, but the Big Bang Theory, I'm not sure I can buy that of, hey, explosion, and because my thing is, look, it's like
sorry, I'm gonna say this real quick because it's actually super creepy. Because like the funny thing is today there was I was in a group chat and like Muntaha's in that group chat. You know Muntaha from the Hangouts and stuff.
Yeah, of course I know the guy.
But Muntaha once in one of your old videos about from a year ago, I think it was homophobia or something. He got in an argument with another guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but it was all about like I'll send you just the comments and like and I was going to tell you like we need to have it like because it was the guy was atheist and Mustafa obviously Muntaha is obviously he's a Muslim. He's a hardcore Muslim too. He's very educated on that. So they were having this massive debate and like everything you're saying right now, it's just kind of creepy that me and you did not even like bring this up. But this was this morning. I was watching that video. I was reading that comment. It's a huge long thread. Yeah. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
But I mean, look, we'll probably dabble into that with regards to the Big Bang Theory, a random explosion, breeded a world that has so many intricate rules. Our brain tells us that anything that has rules has a creator. Like there are rules to how this phone functions. There are rules to how this computer functions. The fact that they have rules to how they function means that there is we are the gods of the computers. We are their god because we are the creators, because we have inputted the rules and the programs as to how
and they do as we say.
I press this button, the thing comes on because somebody inputted rules and said if you press this button. So if you look at the world and how the earth works and all the rules of the work, there had to be something, an entity that said this is how the bees will get the pollen, this is how the sperm impregnates the egg, and how a baby is born. Just look at the process of birth and everything. It is so intricate. It is so well defined that something had to put these rules into place. The fact that this is just random and it just happened, it could be. It could be, but
possibly. There's always a possibility. There's always a possibility.
All right, so look, man, let's hit this on the one, man. So where we're 101. So
if you want to read the super chats, because I believe I don't know if we missed some.
Oh yeah. Shit. Oh fuck. Okay, let me hit those.
All good.
Let me hit those. All right. Shouts boy Chainsaw Man, thank you for the dub Chainsaw. So our GDP system was called dumb in the 1800s. Automation wins over humans. We are screwed. Added to that, governments want us to have inner conflicts for control. Wow. Our GDP system was called dumb in the 1800s. Automation wins over humans. We are screwed. Added to that, no, look, I mean, people talk about the vaccine, that perhaps the vaccine itself is another form of control. And my thing is that we are always under some kind of influence of control all throughout, So my thing is like, whether it's now or whether it's back in the 1800s or so forth, a form of control will always exist, So I'm not saying that we are screwed. It is just what it is. The masses will always be controlled, always. I know say there's the 99% and the 1%. The 1% are aware.
Go look at the Super League, for example. You actually had Sky Sports, one of the biggest news organizations on the planet, lecturing us about how football's for the people. I can't even say with a straight face how football's for the people. Yeah, like I'm telling you, like it's very easy. Like all you have to do is just act like you're taking something away from people, and people will fall in line. I mean, go. You know what? If you want, this is actually rest in peace, Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk. But there's a war arc in Berserk, right? When it's between the Ginishka Empire and Griffith and the apostles. But in it, if you see the world of Berserk, it's purely a medieval human Earth, right? That's what it is. But through natural escalation, if you read the manga, it gets to a point where humans were willing to ally themselves with literal demons against a common enemy, right? And this is just genius from Miura on how he wrote it and he implemented that. Because like there's a character that's sort of like commenting on the war, like as it's happening. And he's talking in the third person, and he's talking about how human beings are willing to put their differences aside, even though like demons are demons. They're not. Don't think they're good or they're literal demons. They sacrifice their humanity. Demons in Berserk universe are human beings that kill their only connection of humanity, whether it's their parents, their siblings. That it is incredible. But to have the way Miura sets it up, how like it shows you, it is how essentially human psychology works. Is that, for example, if you look at the Super League, humans, like people started aligning themselves with corporations that are ruining the sport against what they believe is an even worse entity. In Berserk, it's the same thing. They align themselves with literal demons against what they think is a worse entity. It's not. This entity, these demons want your demise. They're going towards the end of the world. But what I'm trying to say is that this is like it's easy for when it's very easy for us humans to get manipulated, especially when we're in mass. Like it's much easier it's very hard for me to come and sit with you, HH, and talk to you and try to convince you on an ideology. But if I were to hit Nigeria as a country, right, like that's something that you internalized, and I try to be like, well, Nigerians, if you don't wake up, this is going to happen, yada, 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 yada. Like your Twitter is going to be taken away from you. Then guess what? You're all going to jump on this one side against this one thing, which is what we saw happen with Twitter, right? Like just a couple of weeks ago, where if I come and told you like, oh, who would you back, the Twitter or the Nigerian president? You probably would be like, no, absolutely Nigeria. It's my country. I'm going to back my country. But when you add context, when you sway and you sort of murky the waters a little bit, and you portray it in a scenario where no, the Nigerian government's coming to take your rights. They're going to take Twitter from you. They think that you're dumb. They think that you can't use Twitter by yourself, right? It's reverse psychology. You're like, what? No, Nigerians, we're good with computers. We can use this Twitter even without them. We don't need this. We don't need, like, they'll get you to go against your own, right? But like, when it's very dangerous when people are in mass. That's when you get to control people. And what Chainsaw is saying right here is pretty much spot on. Is that like inner conflict? When you sort of create that, when you create conflict amongst people, or like create a conflict for them, even if there is no conflict really there, that's when you control them. Like that's when you have people that you can either you can push people in any direction you want.
No. I think no, because see, people. Again, I always use the theory of the 99% and the 1%. Governments know that 99% of people are stupid, and because they are stupid, they can be controlled. The 1% are those people who are the politicians and the rulers, and the 1% realize how easy it is to control the 99%. Who, if you give them specific triggers, they're very easy to be. They can be very easily governed. And this is a recommendation to everyone here in this live chat as well. If you can, and I think I said to you as well, go and read The Prince by Machiavelli. One of the best books you'll ever read, because he talks about governments, ruling, and just people. And one of his great key sayings is, man is fickle by nature.
That is
spot on. That's one of the best, is that man is fickle by nature. So once you understand that, then you know that people are only loyal to a certain degree. If you are able to bamboozle them and lead them if you're able to package a message in a perfect way, you can lead them onto whatever path you want to lead them to. It's just about how you package it. Because let's keep it like, even the concept of being patriotic, that is a form of control, because these countries, these are just concepts. They're not real.
Not real.
They're just concepts. It's patches. It's this is Nigeria, this is Ghana, but you've just created this concept. It's like people say like great, what the heck is Great Britain? What is that? But this concept, people have created it, and people are not willing to die for it and go towards it. But with regards to what you said about automation, like, machines are going to take over. Like, that's happening. Like, human beings can't do what machines do. A machine never gets sick. A machine never complains, and a machine is consistent. So what's going to happen is, either you know how to manage and work these machines, or you're going to be obsolete, because machines are cost effective.
But here's the thing. So like, we can only compare this to one previous era, which is the Industrial Revolution that happened in the 1800s. How many jobs did the Industrial Revolution remove for human beings? Ask yourself, how many? One. Do you guys want to know what that job is? There's only one job that Industrial Revolution got rid of. It was the elevator man. The man that would stand at the elevator. After they automated elevators, that's the only job that was lost through the Industrial Revolution. You guys could look this up. What I say that is to say is, HH, is like, anything that man creates is finite. It has an expiry date. Whether it's your cell phone, it will only last for a year, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, if you're lucky, 6 years, right? Whether it's like your car, everything is finite. You're gonna always need human beings to overlook, because one thing that's impulsive, the one thing that has actual intelligence, real intelligence, that could react, that could read, it's a human being. You're gonna always need that. So obviously, like, there's going to be a lot of changes with the new era that we're in right now.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't believe in artificial intelligence?
No, I do believe in artificial intelligence in the sense where it's not real intelligence. It is artificial, so it's not going to be to the extent of humans. It's the deductive reasoning that's going to be assigned with it, right?
I'm just saying, because we're not getting into very interesting waters, because yes, you're right that human beings have a sense of free will and dynamism and freedom of thought that is almost impossible for a machine, because we give that machine a set of rules, and even if you veer off those rules, which you would call an anomaly or a fault. Like, for instance, like sometimes when I press the on button, my computer doesn't come on.
Yep.
If I press the on button, it does something else. But that's like a 1% discrepancy. But you could have reached a stage where you've inputted so much complex rules into this one machine that somehow it develops an intelligence of itself that is almost similar to human beings. So it begins to now think and operate by itself based off of a evolution of this very complex.
What about accountability, HH? What about accountability? Because hear me out. Let's just say you're a trucker, right? You accidentally hit a car in a family. Who's at fault? The trucker. Let's just say it's an automated truck now. The automated truck does a calculation, sees that, oh, shoot, if I keep going this way, I'm going to actually hit this family. There's 8 people. But in this car, there's only 4 people. So I'm going to go with the 4 and hits the 4 people and kills them. Who's going to be liable at this point? The corporation, the one that made that AI. Now, you tell me which one of these billionaires is going to willing to risk it like that? They're not. It's the thing is that even though in a utopian world, and if we're talking about ideals, then yes, everything would be automated at that point. And guess what? We'll live in a socialized society at that point where people have universal basic income, because not everybody can work these jobs. You're going to have to give people just universal basic income. And at that point, humanity, to be honest with you, would cease to exist, because humanity thrives off of struggle. Human beings, our greatest innovations come from struggle, come from pushing the boundaries. When we get to a point where we're just comfortable and we're just consumers at that point.
But actually, do you know a very scary concept that we'll get to this? A very scary concept that I have is maybe we are the only kind of intelligent life form in this entire universe, which would be wild.
Like,
you know. That we might be the only intelligence universe in the world that there are no advanced aliens or
I don't believe in aliens. I'll be honest with you. I think what you see in front of you, that's it. This is it. This is our like. There's probably like organisms that.
So basically, like, so what are the chances of you even existing? Just what are the chances of just you? Then that's just crazy. The
if you
fact
look at
that you exist
the
now,
sperm count, the fact that you out of the sperms that comes in, the fact that that alone is a lottery. And then if you add on top of that the fact that how human beings exist is a lottery, and the fact that
it's like a 1 in a billion trillion chance that
it's insane.
You're actually existing.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that aliens. Like, I don't know everything. I don't believe they are, because like. By the way, I did see that the moon landing, and I could see. I could see some validity to it, because he sent me Chainsaw me some good links, and like I was looking at it. I get it. Like so I'm not gonna 100% say I don't believe it never happened. I am skeptical though, because I would like to see it in 4K. I would like to see an astronaut in 4K up on the moon. 4K, that's all I want.
I want to see it in 6K. I want to see that thing in 6K.
Yeah, like we have the technology, so like, let's do it. So
all right. So let's talk about this one. So what is when I say BLM, what reaction do you have to that, and what are your emotions when I just say the words BLM?
To be honest with you, I just think of the injustice of against blacks in America. That's usually what I think the overall representation of it. I do know that recently it's taken on a different whole cause, where they've become a bit more of another branch of the LGBTQ. Essentially, they
so like really, feminist movements.
Yeah. They really haven't. They really went off the mark, because to be honest with you, when I look at the obviously victims, like the blacks in as a whole are victims in the U.S., but like it's clear that the men really get the short end of the stick, and they get the most suffering, because when you look at the prison rates, you look at the police victims, you look at the people who actually lose out on job opportunities. It usually is black males, and I feel like to really focus on really one aspect, I feel like that's very disingenuous to the whole movement. But at the same time, it's not my position to comment on it. I will support it, because I do believe in it, in idea, and in what it represents. I do believe in them, because like go ahead. Sorry, Chase.
No, because that's what I say. Like, I think there are 3 stages. So any of this stuff, there's the movements, then the movement now gets organized, and then you then have the institution.
Yep.
I'm always for the movements. And sometimes the movements just need to get organized. I'm always against the institution. Always 100%, I'm always against the institution, because once you now do the institution is when the power of the message gets lost.
Yep.
So the actual movements of BLM, that's something it makes sense that, Black Lives Matter, and Black lives should matter just like everyone else, because the reality of the matter is that what I call the racial pyramid that exists, blacks are at the bottom, whites are at the top, because it's a white man's world, and they worked hard to ensure it was a white man's world through colonization and rule. So you should never really have an issue with the movement. Now, when you have a movement, for you to really make change, you need to sort of give it a little bit of organization and a little bit of direction. So that's because the movements can be very raw. But if you want to really make some change, okay, organize what are the various things and so forth you want to achieve. And that's where the water gets murky with regards to the people who actually came up with BLM, which were Black women mainly. And then now go to the institution. Once it now becomes institutionalized and it just becomes a company that can then be compromised, then it loses the power that it had through the movement to begin with. So because again, I remember looking at the mission statements and the kind of things that BLM stands for. And I was like, wait, I thought this was just about Black people as a whole. Why is there separation between men and women? But you see, this is a natural human instinct and a human thing, which is that we are all tribal. We're all tribal. So for Black women, they're like, yes, we wanted to fight for Black people. But now that this thing has gotten huge, we feel that we have to fight more for women than for men. So we're going to look to get stuff sorted out for women first than men. And it's like, oh, boy, I thought this was a more holistic thing. So I bring this up because there's this whole issue now with people in England. They basically boo whenever guys take the knee. And I remember I was doing a piece for like the company I work for, where I had to cover the BLM march that went through London and ended up at Hyde Park. I remember when I was just following guys with the camera, and then they came into Hyde Park. There was this group. Basically, there's this thing that happens every Sunday in Hyde Park called Speaker's Corner. So what it is that you have a guy, a Christian guy.
No, I know it's Speaker's Corner. I watched their videos.
Yeah. So our group of people that was following the BLM group worked with Speaker's Corner, and obviously there was this group of white guys that said, man, Marxist, you're a Marxist society, you just want to just promote Marxism and so forth. So people's issue with it is that people taking the knee is them supporting the kind of radical Marxist movements of BLM. And here's the thing, because remember when I was doing the whole thing, there were these calls of defund the police. Red, you can't defund the police.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry.
But here's the thing. But now we're getting to broad terminology, right? Because like I have looked into that. When they mean defund the police, guys, they don't mean actually like make the police weaker. It's just that some police stations in the US, they have tanks. They have literal tanks. A police does not need tanks when you're dealing with in middle state towns. Some police, like their funding goes towards a lot of excessive weaponry that is not needed, that is used to kill people. So like I can understand sometimes when they're saying defund the police, it's not, the thing is when you're speaking in broad terminology, of course it's going to sound weird, because when you hear defund the police, like, are you mad? Like police is one of the greatest inventions man has made for civil protection, because let's be honest, like police are the reason why people don't just storm into your house and just steal your shit, because they're fear of repercussions, right? Because there's law and order. Now, the thing is, is that, look, BLM, what they did is went where the money was coming from, right? Like, who supported them? Conservatives aren't going to support them. Democrats were too cowardly. Who came and supported them? The LGBTQ movement. They came and funded them. They gave them proper funding. They gave them the clout. They gave them all this stuff. So they just willingly sold out. That's not sold out, but like they went in that direction. obviously though, I don't like to criticize it. Like the reason why is because like this is what the people in power want us to do. They want us to criticize these type of movements. Like, let's be honest, the core message is still valid. There is still injustice happening to African Americans in the U.S. and not just in the U.S. It's leaked worldwide, because now you have people, a white guy that can, like, let's say for example me, right? I can come in. I can't sit here and tell you racism doesn't exist. Obviously, it doesn't exist to me. Nobody's gonna come and get because of the way I look and be like, "Yo, you're yada yada yada." They're not gonna come to me like that.
But it's funny because look at the comments now. People were shocked that you're Arab.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, is he?" Because obviously, like, because when you look at you, like, okay, he's got white skin, but there's just something. He doesn't really look Caucasian, really.
Bro, so, I'm 100% Arab, bro. My mom and dad are both Arab, like of Arab. I just came from a mountain region where we have a lot of snow. But like, bro, like your boy, like 100% Syrian, bro. Like I'm not, like I don't want, like I don't. So like I don't have that. But like. Okay,
so
this is why I can be real about this topic. This is why I can be real about this topic.
But so you don't consider yourself white?
No, I'm not. Technically, my race is, I'm a Semite, right? My culture is Arab. That's what it is. My nationality is Syrian, but my skin color is white. Like I would not, and it's not because I'm ashamed of being white or anything. It's because I'm just not. I really don't. What's it called? Like there's no point in me saying that. Oh yeah, I'm white, because like I'm not. Really,
okay. Quick question. So in Canada, then, if let's say white people see you, do they see you as a white guy or an Arab guy?
It depends. What's it called? Some people, like for example, Arabs will know I'm Arab, bro. Like the nose, bro, the beard, the facial features. I'm very much Arab. Like, or people sometimes think I'm Jewish too, because obviously Jews are Semites. So we're like that. Like I could come off as that, but like to white people, it's always a shock. It's actually kind of funny because that's how I experience my racism. Actually, sometimes it's like how I knew. Is because like I'll sometimes be talking to somebody, because I worked in retail, and it would be all like normal, right? But the moment they see my name, because my name is Abdullah, right? Like Abdullah. Like so, like when the moment they see my name, oh, you're Arab, like like not like, no joke, HH. It's like there's almost a certain shift where they don't feel as friendly to me. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen with like the people my age group. I'm talking like 70-year-olds and 60-year-olds, like the older generation. Like it's a bit more clear. It's abundant. The tone shift, the way that when somebody's talking to you, like as if you're their son, or somebody talks to you as if like, okay, I just want to get this interaction over with. You could feel it, and like that's where no, my name is not actually my name is not actually Red, guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, like
who thought his name was actually Red, man? Come on.
No, he's joking. I want to say he's joking. But no, yeah, guys, please stop comparing me to DJ Vlad, man. Please, I beg, guys. Like, come on. Out of all the people you guys going to compare me to, you guys picked Vlad.
You do look a lot like him, though.
Do I really?
You look a lot like him. Yeah, you do.
Like, set up.
No. But basically, if you to look at Vlad, it's like, no, you look very similar. You look very similar. But luckily, you're a lot cooler than him. You know, Vlad. The guys is a
man. I'm not a fan of Vlad at all. Like the thing is about Vlad. Like Vlad is one of those slimy guys that will portray something and be like, "Whoa,
he's a leech." He's a leech.
Yeah, he is. And the thing is, it's not even the leech part. HH is because look, you could be a part of a culture, but as long as you're respecting to the guidelines. But I feel like he enforces a lot of negative stereotypes, and he's the first. Like remember when because I unsubscribed to Vlad back in 2015 because I used to be subscribed to him because I used to watch the Star interviews and the Charlemagne the God interviews. That's how I got into Charlemagne because those were classics, right? And Lord Jamar as well. Those three, amazing.
Those are the ones that I got into. So actually, let me just get this. So, Chainsaw D say that the Fermi Paradox. Look it up. Oh, okay.
I have it right here. If you guys want me to read it out. The Fermi Paradox, named after Italian-American physicist Enrico Fermi, is the apparent contradiction between the lack of evidence for extraterrestrial civilization and various high estimates for their probability, such as some optimistic estimates for the Drake equation. So, no, it's true. Like we can't full-fledgedly say there is no extraterrestrials, or just because of the unique situations that we came up in. I do understand. I just don't want to Like when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's just like general topics. Chainsaw. Like I don't really. It's like for me, it's like philosophy. There's no really right answer. We just talk about.
Oh, no,
it.
no, no. I mean, no, because all I'll say is that I say because a universe this big, and we are the only intelligent life form. That's extreme, man. That's extreme. Oh, very quickly. So Halo Infinite looks promising. Excited, bro. I did see some footage of Halo Infinite. Is looking at Halo 5 was complete trash because Halo is the only sort of like FPS game that I play. And yes, because me and my friend in Miami, like we're both big Halo guys, and he said, "Look, that Halo Infinite stuff, it looks nice, bro. It looks nice." Now this is interesting. And I remember reading and the founder of BLM stepped down, and people dug up some info that she owns 6 houses in different locations and lives a lavish lifestyle. It's not sketchy. She used the money from BLM to buy, like that's what's happened. Like it's not like, oh yeah, because BLM has made no. Red, do you know when I got a bit when I went to the website and I saw merch
for what?
When when Nelson Mandela was sort of like fighting against those racist bastards in apartheid during South Africa, they say like, yeah, buy some anti-apartheid branches, buy anti-apartheid, or do you think that Malcolm X and people are here buy some pro-black merch? And which is why you see, initially I was against the whole kneeling thing by the players because I felt that it's become very performative, and BLM is now sort of like a very cool thing. But what's been got on board is when people started to boo. Because wait a minute, because see, here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. Protest isn't supposed to be nice. Protest is supposed to be ugly and inconvenient.
You're pushing the boundaries, your norms.
If protest is nice, you get ignored. If protest pisses you off, you can't ignore me. Therefore, you now have to talk to me. You now have to listen to me. So the fact that you're getting annoyed, we're getting somewhere.
Yep. No. See, the thing is HH, like when it comes to like selling that kind of merch, I'm all for it if you're taking that money and putting it towards lawyers to free some of the people that are in jail for unjust crimes. If you're using that money to help the situation of African Americans in the US, if you're using that money to put it towards campaigns of proper politicians that can bring proper funding to your communities, that kind of money is better used in those kind of situations. But the problem is, HH, is absolute power corrupts absolutely. When somebody's put in these kind of positions, they're going to get corrupt, without a doubt. And when they don't get corrupt, you know what happens? Gone, bro. Malcolm X, gone. You look at the Martin Luther King, gone.
And this is why I said I'm always against the institution. Because once you have built into the institution, there's power. And once there's power and there's now it's a spotlight, people now get arrogant and they now get corrupt because oh my gosh, people are now listening to us. Or people, when we're now doing sponsorships, we're now doing deals. And because right now, BLM is now the cool thing that people want to have because it's so powerful. But now that's the rawness of the message that you had from the moment to begin with is lost. Because you're compromised. Because now Sky, the Premier League, Hollywood, and everything wants to now use your name and pay you, and maybe a little kind of thing. See, man, if you could just use your BLM logo and so forth, what can you do? Because now the BLM thing that is now trademark now.
So what I'm saying,
Red, what's happening here? What happened to the freaking movements? What's this?
It is. That's the problem. They teach is the movement is. You are right, because like right now, if you go on a Twitter profile, let's say for example. Just going on any random girl's profile or something like that, you always see like BLM, right? You'll just see always like BLM just in the when in reality you just see like, okay, what are you actually doing for it? What do you actually know about the situation? What do you actually know about the topic? They don't. They're just subscribing to it because they think that this is an anti-racism badge. That if I'm pro BLM, then I'm not a racist. But the problem isn't racist. It's not about just individual racists, you just being a racist. The problem is with the system that is racist. You know what I mean? The organization, the structure. Now, obviously, there are going to be some people that be like, "Well, I'm not a racist, so why do I have to put up with this? Why the people who are booing, the people who are kneeling? Like, why are you booing people that are standing up for those for that to bring awareness to it?" But it's because, again, they're just being defensive to it, which is what came to you. That's what a protest is supposed to do. It's supposed to rile you up. When it's not riling you up and it becomes a badge of honor that people are wearing just to be popular, that's when you have a problem.
And also that's what I'm not sure. Have you heard of kick it out?
Yeah, like kick it, the racism movement. Yeah, kick it out, like, kick it out of the game.
Because you know that I think kick it out. The president of kick it out is a white lady.
Yeah, it's
yeah. So and basically, what's kick it out is just like you just wear a badge and that's it.
That's it. I'm not racist.
So,
like. No, but the problem is they teach like what we have to do is like, because I don't like to criticize these movements because I know at their core their messaging is what's important. We have to look at the messaging is because like me criticizing them is going to give validity to racists to think that this is like, look, these look what happens when I don't want to give them that. That's why I want to stick to the core message. Okay, this movement's corrupt. We will find out those individuals in particular who are being corrupt and we'll hold them accountable. We're not going to throw the whole movement under the bus. We want to make sure that we have to keep sure that the core message is not deferred and it's not tainted.
And that is because it's people, they know what they're doing, because they're trying to look for an excuse not to really deal with the issues, because the kneeling thing is a symbolic thing which began with Colin Kaepernick, which is that me kneeling is me bringing attention to this. And I think basically what Kaepernick did was more powerful because he did this during the American national anthem. And why Kaepernick's was most powerful was because people were pissed off. Because people were pissed off, you were forced to listen. So now that people are not getting pissed off with the England players now kneeling, you now say, okay, because now you're now forced into a conversation. If a protest doesn't ruffle feathers or doesn't piss people off, then it's not useful. Like, look at when Martin Luther King were doing the marches and so forth. People attacked them. Look at what's also called the SARS in Nigeria as well, and look at how they got attacked. But the fact that there was that anger and that response from the government showed it as feathers are ruffled, and by you resorting to violence, it now becomes widespread, specifically in this world of social media. Like Mandela, he went up against them, they jailed him, and then he then came throughout and was like, lovely. He said, see, bro, don't even get me started on South Africa, man.
Oh no! The thing is we talked that we were gonna make an episode about South Africa. Remember when you told me we were gonna make an episode about South Africa?
And I want to get
some research, man. And that shit is tragic.
I want to get Imaham in on it as well, man, because I know that he's a South African, and even any other guys who are South African, man, hit us up, man, because I definitely want to, because that is because the thing about South Africa is, because obviously there are many countries in Africa have issues, which is why I've always said that I couldn't bring myself to go to South Africa. Like, I couldn't do it because I would find it very difficult going to an African country where white people rule and are treated better. You see, in England, I'm like, hey, look, it's England's country and so forth, and it is what it is. Even if I was actually born here, I was actually born in London. But it's like, people say that, wait a minute, why are you so, like, anti-English, this, that, and so forth? I didn't just do it just by choice and so forth. Like, when I initially came into England, I was like, man, England, pro-England, England is amazing, it's so much better than Nigeria, this and that. And so, the amounts of racism I experienced in school, they made it very clear that we don't see you as English, you are black, you're an outsider, and we'll keep reminding you that you're an outsider.
And now they're mad that you say that I'm proud black. So they're mad when you don't identify with them, but when you try to identify with them, because they exile you.
No, Red, they want their cake and it's because they want you to be fully English, but still insult you and call you names. So once you now sort of now go against anti-English, they now say, whoa. So it's weird, man. It is totally weird. But it's true. Like, so my thing is that it's not that I'm anti-English. It's just that it's just a reaction to what I went through in school, which is that a bunch of English guys who just make it very well and known that, no, you are foreign and we're going to keep clowning you and so forth. See, the funny thing is that when I was in school, there were like few blacks, but there were a lot of Chinese in school. Bro, the amounts of times the word chink got said in there. It is insane. And these are 14-year-olds, 14, 15-year-olds who almost every other word was chink this, chink that, chink this, because there was such a massive number of Asians. The English whites obviously viewed this as a threat. So they hated these guys. And obviously, they obviously the black racist jokes as well. But there was, like the worst one is this, that, guys used to come up to me and be like, hey man, yeah man, yeah man, yeah man, yeah man.
They try to copy slang.
Red. When I was 14 years old, remember, this is a guy just coming from Nigeria via Switzerland. I didn't know where Jamaica was on the map. I honestly, I say, I don't know where it was on the map.
That's fair. That's fair.
So something like, I don't know where it was on the map. I've never met a Jamaican guy in the world, but these guys are saying, yeah man, yeah man, yeah man. I'm like, wait, what is Jamaica? I don't listen to reggae music. I don't even particularly like Bob Marley's music as well. I really don't want to, but I just don't like. So, but it's because they have this stereotype that they stick to. They just say, oh, black man, hey, weed, reggae, Bob Marley, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, wow, I was like, okay, where is Jamaica? What is Jamaica? Is it an island or country? Because I don't know what the hell Jamaica is, So, and I have a weird theory about Bob Marley as well, but it's like, it's slightly controversial. And same thing with Bruce Lee, because it's something that me and my brothers always say is that, because
I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. I don't know much about Bob Marley. Like, I love the Marleys. I like listening to their music. Damian Marley's like I've artist I listen to frequently, but like I don't know too much about that. But like I know for Bruce Lee, I'm a fan, man. Like for example,
let me just. Do you think Red would suffer the same bullying and racism if he were to enter in school in Nigeria? No. Let me tell you a story. So obviously I did my nursery school and primary school in I did my nursery school and my primary school in Nigeria. And in primary school, we had this guy, I remember his name, called Laddie.
Yep.
Very, very fair skinned. So very, very light skinned and so forth. And this guy, people loved him. They loved this freaking dude. So my thing is, it goes back to, it's a white man's world and the ideology that the white man puts upon the world. So if you look in Nigeria, there is still, I remember this so much. So I remember there was a point when I was really young. This is when I must have been about, because I was in nursery. So I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I remember standing in the playground, and I looked at my palms, and I was like, my palms look really, really light. And I was proud that my palms looked light because maybe I'm now closer to whiteness. This is a 5, 6-year-old. But that just showed you the kind of psychology of what whiteness meant. So if Red was to come to Nigeria, you'd be worshipped. They would love you because your skin is lighter. And
Rob, just to this machine, I'll call it machine, because machine. So like, just to answer your question, like I'll tell you, like I went to schools both. I lived as a child up until the 6th grade. I was in Canada, and then I was in Syria from the 6th grade up until the 12th grade. So I went to school in both in both countries, and in Syria. Like obviously you have like white people, but you don't have, it's not as common. Like you'll have like pretty much going to be like 30%, but those are like Syrian whites, you know what I mean? They're not like that. But when it comes to Westerners, like if somebody comes from the West, they're worshipped, man. They're almost looked at as like the pillar of civilization. Like, oh, look how much etiquette they have. They're always viewed as like
like for me, if let's say when I go to Nigeria and they just hear me speak and so forth, they know that I'm not a local. And therefore, they will sort of revere me and so forth. Oh my gosh, this guy's foreign and so forth and everything. So for me, I will get treated differently from everyone else based on just
for that fact. They do like in most it tends to be in the poorer countries or countries that are not really of the, like let's say for example West or the first world countries. They tend to have a certain view of first world countries as these perfect utopias, and that the people there tend to be more educated and more in order. So there's a bit of reverence there. They don't really make fun of you. Now I will say that I was made fun of. I was bullied like when I was a kid, but like wherever I went, but that was because I was a redhead. I had a lisp. I talked a lot, and I wouldn't shut up. I was a bit thick-headed. So I was sort of like almost a magnet to that kind of stuff. But like I'll be honest with you, Like it made me who I am today, was that kind of bullying. But I would never, but that kind of bullying, I always kind of understood why. I never thought that it was purely based off of race. When it comes to what H.H. gave it as the example, is that Black people are sort of viewed at in Western society in general that they are a monolith. Like H.H. is coming from Nigeria, from Africa, and he's going to the UK to school, and people are giving him Jamaican references. Right? It's not like, for example, I'm like a white guy that goes to Nigeria and then some Nigerians come up to me and go like, oh, look at this Viking looking guy, Yinga Dinga Durgan. Like, they're not going to do that, man. Like, because like, it's just that that doesn't really happen to really white people. Like, really.
No, it's based on the dynamics of the world, because this goes back to how the world has been engineered for hundreds of years through the empires and the colonizations, because there has been this image of whiteness that has been created, that whatever white is beauty, white is intelligence, and that has fitted. I told you. And there's a pyramid. Okay, so
I just wanted to like comment this, because like this is key to these kind of conversations to actually bring people together. Is I'll tell you this, HH. Everything is beauty. Everything is intelligence, whether white, Asian, anything. Right? We're not. I don't want to say this in a sense where we're trying to shame white people, because I'm telling you, there are white people here that you guys have no power. You guys are bottom of the totem pole like me, right? But like what we're trying to say is there is this sort of inherent bias and privilege to being white, and I am a victim of that. I know that for a fact. Is that when I walk in, I tend to be looked at as a safer option to other people just because I'm white. Just because I'm white, I tend to view that as a racial option. Like, sorry, not a racial, a safer option. Just because of that, and that's an inherent bias. I could be the biggest scumbag on the planet, right? But because of that, people tend to have that from years and years. When you watch old movies, right? Like, who's the hero all the time, right? Our parents, like, you tend to your brain associates this, and this isn't like us being just evil or anything. It's just that human mind is basic. We put A and B together. Like, we always want to put everything in order. We always have to have the answer. So we tend to associate these things together from watching years and years of white protagonists, of the white savior, of Jesus being white, all this stuff. Obviously, we got to a point where now information is available, and we're realizing that there's a lot of injustice. We're going to start asking questions.
It's because, I always find it funny. This is funny that I find funny. Say, first of all, look, I'm not like a whole anti-white guy thing and so on, because like was one of my best friends, my closest friends who I've known since I was 14. I keep mentioning him, called Billy. The guy is as white. The guy is a full-on white English dude. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And and we've been friends since I was 14. I'm now, I'll say I'm in my 30s now. I don't want to ruin my age. I'm in my 30s now. But yeah, I've known him since I was 14. So then this guy is as white as it comes. So for me, I'm like, hey man, as long as you're cool, I don't give a crap what race or whatever you are, as long as you're cool. But my thing is that I always find it funny whenever white guys take issue with, let's say, people being pro-black. Because there's a reason why people are so forcefully pro-black. Your answer to me being pro-black is not for you to be pro-white. That makes no sense. The reason why people are so pro-black is because black people were so demonized and so forth for being black, and that black is bad and so forth, that now that the world is changing, you now will now double down. If there was no racism, why would there be anything of pro-black? Case in point, when living in Nigeria, nobody in Nigeria is saying, you're pro-black, pro-black, pro-black. No, because there's there's tribalism, there's no racism here. So we're just dealing with tribes and rich, poor, or from where you're from. But it's only now when I come and leave Nigeria that there's now this whole thing of black and white, and you now see where blacks are. Black people's response to that is, hey, let's love ourselves more, self-love, pro-black and everything based on the world that's white people created. And another thing as well is that, it's when it's because another thing that people like to do is like when a white person says, oh man, stop playing like the race card, or it's not that deep. Why are you so sensitive? How can you tell someone how to react to something that you can never experience? For example, Red, it's like me telling a woman, man, stop screaming when she's going through pregnancy.
Yep.
It's like, oh, no, it's not that bad. Well, a woman is like, unless you go through pregnancy, how can you tell me or try to understand the kind of pain
And
threshold that I go
hold
through?
that.
So
Stay on that. No, wait, sorry, go ahead.
So-
Because
so-
Machine had a retort, and I just want to respond to it real quickly, just because what he said. He's like, none of this was strictly injustices, though. They were white protagonists and heroes because because that fictional products were generated by white people in a majority white country. Isn't that to be expected? Yes, but Machine, when that country was built off of the foundations of slavery, right? America, because was built off of slavery, and those people, black people existed there, and where they were looked at as lesser than, they were actually viewed as an animal, like in zoos. While white people, when generations of education starts happening to these people, and they start looking at about why they're at a more disadvantaged slot in society, and they start asking questions, there's going to be that sense of pride. There's going to be that sense of that will rise of that. You can't just be like, well, it's a majority white country. Yes, it's a majority white country, but don't forget that there are other people that built this country as well that aren't white. So I don't say that having white protagonists is bad. It's just that when you start getting these pushbacks, you can understand why this pushback is happening. This pushback is not happening just purely based off of pride and ego. Like the reason why, like when you look at, for example, let's just say, for example, if you're a black descendant in the U.S. that's descended from slavery, right? And it's 1990 right now, right? Your parents have no property, they have nothing, they live in rent, and they don't really. There's not much educated. You're actually the first of your generation who's graduating from college and university, right? Like, you don't think that person is going to ask himself, now, why is that? Why my family, who's been here for 400 years, doesn't have that? He'll look back and be like, oh, slavery. Oh, even after slavery was done, we still weren't giving proper opportunities. Oh, even after they gave us civil rights, we were still viewed as lesser than, and that we need a white savior, and we need and that there's something wrong with us, and that we don't grab ourselves up by the bootstraps. Bro, there's a ton of things that build up to this point that we're in right now, and being defensive and undermining people's struggle, even if it's worse than that of their ancestors, even if it's like, sorry, it's better than that of their ancestors, is not helping the situation. Acknowledge the problem. There's nothing wrong with us educating ourselves from our history, because if we don't educate ourselves and understand that this is why this happens, then this is going to continue to exist.
No, but see now, Red. Should we get real?
Yeah, get real, man.
Live chat. Let's
always get real.
Let's get real conversations. Yeah, let's get real. Racism can never go.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible, because people need to get these jokes off. And Red, do you know what I mean by people need to get these jokes off?
True, but just quickly, because here's the thing, HH, we have to differentiate name calling from racism, because name calling is one thing, racism is another.
But it's sort of part and parcel. Because racism is still the umbrella that governs the name calling, the jokes, and so forth. The racism is the overall overseer. My thing is that if I'm white and I know that I'm in a privileged position and I know that I am seen as the best and people revere me, why would I want to lose that power? So me cracking jokes about this black guy, this Indian guy, this Jewish guy, this Asian guy, it gives you this sense of power, because this enforces the fact that I'm at the very top. It's like the notion of like a white man who is fully poor says, mate, at least I'm white. Because his mind is that, yes, I'm poor and everything, but at least I'm not a nigger, at least I'm not a chink, at least I'm not a paki, at least I'm not a kike, and so forth. So that is what the white poor man is saying, that at least I'm not any of you dudes, because just me, the definition of me being white, I am still somehow better than this black guy who is fully successful, this Asian guy who is fully successful. And that's privilege, and that's position. Why would you want to give that up? So how are you going to try and get someone who enjoys a position of power within society to now give that up and now view people as equals? No.
I'll tell you how, HH. But
no, but people don't say no.
You're right, but at the same time you're wrong, because people change. People literally, as in the people that make up society, change. I'll give you an example.
Change. Look, what do you mean by change?
Like the way they think. I'll give you an example. When I think of like the most attractive actor out right now, right? Who? Idris Elba. Idris Elba is a gorgeous man. He's set up to be James Bond, because he is literally what.
Red, And I don't want that guy being James Bond, because that is a dumb move for him to be. James Bond.
Put that
is
aside.
a white
Put that
man.
aside.
Okay,
I get that. I understand what
man.
you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but like put that aside. But what I'm trying to say is that like it's sort of like bullying, right? You can never really defeat bullying because younger generations will grow up and they haven't been taught like, anti-bullying, and they're gonna naturally bully because that's just human nature, and they'll usually pick bullying based off of like surface level differences, like physical or anything like that. But once they're educated, they'll stop it, right? But slowly, guys, incremental improvements. You always have to stay optimistic. It's just like, for example, somebody like me could be educated on this topic, even though I am impartial. I have no beef in this, right? Like I'm not like if anything, being white probably is gonna be better for me, right? But when we through slowly educating people by teaching people the history in the past, we will eliminate it because it would add more.
Red.
Mhm.
I thought we're having real conversations.
I am. I'm 100%. But this is genuinely how I believe.
Let's be real.
Mhm.
Okay, you show someone about the history and the education, but this person likes to crack these jokes, and he likes the power.
But jokes are relative. It's funny. It's funny right now. I'll tell you this. If you go in the 1940s,
no. It's not about it's being funny. It's a reminder of my position and the power of where I have in society. Why do I want to give that joke? Isn't just about it being funny. That joke is, I'm white, and I'm at the top of the freaking pyramid, and I want to maintain that position. Why the hell do I want to give it up to view these guys as an equal? Why?
True. No, but see, but the age, this is why I said society changes, because check this out. That joke that he's cracking may be funny in during a specific time frame, right? But when time moves on, society changes. That joke begins to not be funny. Nobody finds it funny because they're like, oh, okay, so what's the joke? He's black. Okay, like cool, because I have my friend right here and he's black and he's studying to be a doctor. Like that, it defeats the stereotype because more opportunities, more equality is being given out. Because I'll give you an example. If you go back and watch a comedian from the 1960s, like who's that guy who was in The Nutty Professor? I forgot his name.
It's not Eddie Murphy, is it?
No, the original one. The original one. He's a comedic legend. He was
Peter Sellers?
No. I'll look it up real quick because he has an interview with Muhammad Ali, which like you could see true racism there if you want. But like that guy, he was the original professor. Go watch his stand up. By his time, he was considered a risque comedian. But you go watch it right now. That shit's tame. It's not even funny, right? Because society changed. It progressed. You look at like now, for example, like. What's going to happen is eventually this new generation that's coming up, that's more educated, they see more of this stuff. They're not going to find this stuff funny. They're not going to find. They're going to be like, you know what? We've seen racism. We've seen all this stuff. We've been through all this. We're tired of these topics. Like we're going to end it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't want It's slowly going to be.
Wait. Okay, so right. So you see a time where in 20, 30, 40 years time when racism doesn't exist.
No, not, and I don't see in my lifetime. To be honest with you, this is incrementally throughout life. Like it's just because, like over time.
It is a key point that someone I want to bring up, because it's something that even my brother even told me. I want to see what I can bring in it.
People have always been sensitive. People tried to censor GTA. Like bro, like
racism will never stop. Even if everyone was the same color, people would still find other ways to discriminate. And I remember my brother saying this to me.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Human beings, at any level, there's always discrimination. Even Nigeria, my country right now, everyone is black. Everyone is black. But what we're not doing? Tribalism. Oh, I'm Yoruba, or you're Igbo, you're Ishan, you're Shakiri, you're Fulani, you're this, you're that. Even the different denominations within those tribes. People will always find something, because human beings need labels.
But that's called bigotry. That's bigotry. That's not racism. That's bigotry. Because if people are all the same color, it wouldn't be called racism anymore. It would be called more like.
But it's still a form of discrimination. See, like
It is. Yeah, that's true.
No, yeah. So my thing is like, you see, my belief, and this is again, it was my brother that was saying this to me, is that how racism ends is these mixed race kids.
Yep.
Because if everyone is all mixed up and everything, then say, which is why I've seen the one drop rule is the most racist shit I've ever seen in my life. because my thing is, your people are so, the racist wise, not all wise, but the racist wise, you're so protective of your race and so forth that even if someone is 50% white, you still just view them as black. That makes no sense. You know, it's like, and for me, that's why, for me, it's still hard for me. See, I don't view a mixed race person as black. I don't. No, because no, you have black, you have white. Now, it goes back to the whole Demi Lovato thing. I respect your decision to live a certain way, because I remember I was having a discussion with this a colleague of mine at the office who's mixed race, and she was like, "Nope, it is my decision that I view myself as black, and that's how I." And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool," and I respect it. I don't have to accept it. So I don't accept mixed race people as black. I don't see them as black. You're mixed race. It's like when people say, "Oh no, Halle Berry, she's like, you know, she represents like, you know, black beauty and so forth." No, she represents mixed race beauty because her mother is white. She isn't black. She's mixed race. So I'm just all because white said that, oh, one drop rule. No. I don't give a damn. I'm a biology merchant. I'm a science merchant. 50% white, 50% black, you're mixed race. And the whole point...
But 100% human, 100% human.
100% human, yeah. Man, that sounded so cheesy, but...
No. Listen, it's because I'll be honest with you when it comes to, because like when it comes to this conversation in particular, like you obviously, because you are a black man, you can be like, you know what, no, you aren't of like...
Red, of the same race. 100%. And I'm also Red. Do you want me to get even deeper? And this may shock some people.
Go ahead. HH is mixed race, guys. HH is mixed race, guys.
I got a white mother. My name's Half Hope. No. Okay, no. I'm fully black.
No, I'm kidding.
My thing is that I said to myself that, and this made me sound crazy, but I'll say, but look, because we're here to be real. Right?
Yeah, go ahead, AJ.
We're here to be real, and I'm just going to say this, and you can say, but I'll say it, and we'll have a conversation. I can't have mixed race kids. My kids have to be black. And that may sound effed up and screwed up.
That is not. Wait.
But let me speak. Go ahead. But my thing is that I don't know. I would not know how to parent a mixed race child. Because here's my thing, Red. I can't look at my mixed race child and tell him that you're black. Because that's not true. And that's, for me, in my view, makes no sense. But at the same time, my mixed race child to the world will be viewed as black. So I've got to sort of tell my mixed race child that, okay, you're not black, but out in the world, you've got to be black. But even if your mother is white, Red, I can't do it. I can't do it. So that's the first. And the second thing is that just for me, just for my own viewpoint, I just want my kids to be black. I want them to be black. I'd like them to be fully black.
Somebody commented, "Go to your room, Rafaela Jr." Listen. I won't be honest with you, HH. Like,
and also, see. Okay, look. No. I think that's.
I was gonna say that. I don't think what you said is effed up, because first of all, having a preference and partner there's no racism or prejudice involved in that. Everybody's entitled to have their own preference of beauty. Nobody can come and tell you, "Oh, you're messed up because you don't want to be with a white girl or Asian girl or brown girl, or whatever." No, if you prefer to be with a black woman, that is you. What you find beautiful. That's what does it for you. And if you're not allowed to even have that own preference, that own standard, then that's pretty messed up. So I don't think there's, even when people say like, "Oh, I'm only into white guys."
For you, you're like, you'll have kids with whoever, or are you like, I want to sort of...
I'll be honest with you, HH, because I had this
debate.
I was in a I was in a 7-year relationship with a Latina, a Colombian woman, and yeah, man, hablo en español, I got to like pick up a bit, and I've actually visited Colombia. I've met her family and everything. I was in a long-term relationship with this girl, and it was real. Like, it was real, like the possibility of marriage and having kids and everything. And it was very difficult. It was like the fact that I had to, I had to almost explain every position I had, really. No, man, shouts out to them, bro. Colombians, best, bro, amazing people. Love to have a good time. Nothing but good things to say about them.
But let me just put on a tip.
And beautiful country and amazing food.
Colombian woman,
Amazing. No, I have nothing but good things.
No,
Nothing but good
because
things.
I think my brother, because during COVID he was stuck in Colombia and so forth, and he said, "Oh no, Colombia is amazing. Like the food is amazing, people are
Everything.
amazing, everything." He said Colombia is
Everything. I got to
really
visit
beautiful.
like 4 different states. I went to like Cali. I went
I
to
want to go.
Villavicencio. I went to
I want
Bogota.
to
No,
go. I want to
definitely
go. I
go.
want to
Like
go.
Colombia is a beautiful country. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. Like that's the food trucks where you go on the street. You're gonna have a blast. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely recommend it. But like what I say is, like it was pretty difficult for me because like I felt like a zoo animal at times. Very, very much a zoo animal where like, oh, why don't you eat pork? Oh, why like why don't you what's it called? Why do your women wear the headscarf? Or oh, why do
Mm-hmm.
you have to do this? Or why do you have to do that? Or why do you have to? And to be honest with you, it's just like it could get a bit like. Obviously, I'm very understanding. I'm a very patient guy, so I don't mind answering these questions and going back and forth and like and educating people like on my culture. Like I'm not that type of guy, but like I'm not gonna lie, it does get a bit exhausting at a point that where you
I get
like
it. Because you're obviously again, yeah, I see. You're very your culture and your identity is very important,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
and
I am to
therefore
me
it makes
because
sense if somebody shares or understands that culture,
exactly
because
and
then
because
again
like
it will be okay. I
and
see.
to me like she was never an issue. Like she was 100% understanding. She was respectful. Even during Ramadan she would refuse to see me when I'm fasting because it would break my
Mm,
fast or stuff like that. So she was overly like she was amazing. So I would never really want to say anything about her. But when it comes to, let's say, for example, like the people around her family, people who obviously they're doing it because they love her and they want to make sure she's safe and she's making the right decision. She's not just
mm.
going out with a boy. So when me and her were, let's say, for example, when I would sit with her family and they would have these conversations with me, it would always be, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but it would always be kind of difficult, right? And like it's something that I realized that, like, look, if you're gonna be going with like an interracial or intercultural like marriage or a situation, you have to understand it's a lot of work, and it could be just so much easier if you just marry somebody from your own culture, bro. If I get an
Yeah,
Arab chick, like I don't have to explain nothing, bro. She understands
yeah.
everything. She
Everything,
looks at me, she's like, "Let's not do this because we both know how this is gonna look. Let's just go do that." You know, it's gonna be much easier because we both understand
Oh
each
no, no,
other.
yeah, no, because and I think that's what I've known. Like, let's say when I've gone on dates with women who are not black and
Mhm.
they're white and everything, I'm like, whenever like the issue of race comes up, they
Mhm.
are fully understanding everything, but they don't quite get it.
Yep.
There's just a shorthand that I have with a black woman where you don't even need to say, like, you just get it. And that's aspect which will always come up because look, it is what it is. You don't want it to, but we don't live in a utopia. The thing issue of race and so forth and that thing will always be around. And I think for white women, they'll never they can be understanding, they can be empathetic, but you could never really get it to the same degree that a black woman would.
Mhm.
So that's why it's like if let's say I'm having a family with kids, she has to be black. She has to be black.
And that's why I say
So
that's the difference between sympathy and empathy,
mm,
right? A black woman can empathize with you because she knows the struggle. A white woman can only sympathize with
yeah,
you
yeah.
because she doesn't know the struggle, right? Like she can
Mm.
understand, like she can try and
Yeah,
understand the pain, but she'll never really
from a
know.
very basic human point of view,
Yeah, exactly. But
because
she
you don't
won't
understand, we
ever
can never
really
really
know.
understand it. You can
Yeah,
never really understand it.
and that's the thing. It's like when it comes to but somebody's asking us if like mixed relationships are they the hardest? Like, look, relationships are always hard. Typically, when you're trying to unify two families or really get with someone, it's always going to be difficult because you're going to always have to make compromises, right? But when it comes from different, when you guys are from different cultures, yes, because there's a lot to prove. Because not only do you have to prove yourself to her family that you're just not here to play around and you want to, like respect her and her culture and her values, but she has to do the same to your family and your culture and values. And this could be in a wide array because I'm gonna tell you something. My girlfriend or my ex, sorry, she was very much she liked to dress up a lot. She like
Mm,
Colombian women love their fashion. She loves
mm,
her dresses. She loves all that stuff. Now my culture, we're a bit more on the conservative side. So obviously, like for example, if she's gonna come to meet my mom or anything like that, she'll more likely wear jeans, long jeans. Maybe wear a long shirt that will cover just a long shirt that sort of covers up a little bit more her features because that's what my mom likes. So obviously on my end, I don't ever force a woman to do anything. I don't like, bro, let her do her thing. If it works out, if it flows, it flows. If it doesn't, it is what it is.
So is your mom sort of putting pressure on you to sort of
no,
make
like
them
my
married and
parents,
everything,
my parents will respect whatever decision I make. They have preferences. They do. They would. My mom would definitely prefer if I would marry a girl of my own culture. But like they cannot. They know, like, my parents don't have the power over me to really tell me like who to marry and who not to marry. They don't. I would always be respectful, but like, so because to be honest with you, I think I'm very selective when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not the type of guy that really simps over women where I'm just like chasing them and stuff like that. Like, I will like to get to know the girl, talk to her, vet her, see her reactions to certain situations, and if I can see that as your character is compatible with mine, then it's fine, right? Like, and that's overall what matters the most. Culture and all that stuff can you guys can sort of over time adjust to that. But if her character, you feel like this person is somebody you could vouch for, it's gonna be hard, but you can make it work. It's not impossible to be in a mixed relationship.
So maybe for the next that's and so forth, guys. Anybody in the live chat, send any questions you have about anything. Send them in. So we'll do like another Q&A for the last hour. So any questions you want us to answer or so forth, feel free to send them in, man. I want to go back to that whole life theory thing, man. Why are we here? Red.
Well, from my worldview,
why are we here?
I'll be honest with you. Here's my worldview, right? I'm a Muslim. And for Muslims, we believe that we are tourists here. This world is finite. This isn't our world. Nothing here is important. We're here like sort of as a test from God for us to really. He's testing our patience.
This is a test.
This is a test. This is a test. Absolutely, this is a test. Like everything. That's why I never like.
Okay. So you say it's a test.
Yep.
One person's life. Okay, they grow old. His parents die when he's 70 or 80 years old. His sisters and so forth, they live till older. He lives till 60 or 70. Doesn't have that much tragedy in his life. If a few pitfalls here and there and so forth, and he then dies. Another guy's life, his dad is an alcoholic. His mom dies when he's 10. He loses his brother. He gets married. His wife and his kids die in a car crash. He remarries himself. He becomes an alcoholic. He deals with depression and so forth. Red, those are two very different tests.
Now, here's the thing, HH. Of course. So we have to look at these. Like, here's how I look at things. First of all, every problem that we have on the planet right now is man-made. Every single problem. Whether you want to talk about like the situation, the diaspora of certain people around the world, we want to look at the situation of certain countries that have it harder than other countries. We want to look at certain people. It all comes from one other person taking another person's rights, right? So when it comes to that kind of stuff, tests, obviously not every test is going to be the same. For example, that person, the second person that you mentioned, his test could have been a test of patience, right? A test of struggle in humility. That's his test. The other person's test was a test of giving, a test of you have all these luxuries. Are you going to help your fellow man? Everything's going your way, right? Sure, life might be easier for this guy than the other guy, but the afterlife, in my worldview,
but there are clearly harder tests than others.
Absolutely, no,
because
absolutely.
There are people that live in. Because the test that a poor person has in Nigeria, I'm sorry, is far harder than the test a posh person that lives.
But his way to Jannah is easier, HH. His way to heaven is easier. In my religion, that's what we believe. That when you're poor, the more you struggle on earth, the easier it is for you to get into heaven. So the more you have power, the harder it is for you to get into heaven. The more money and power, because the more influence you have and what you do with it, it's much harder, HH. That's the thing, is like we have to always...
Okay, but then Red, then it's like, okay, and I think somebody even mentioned in the live chat, what if you're not religious and you're not aware that there is a test? Because see, Red, you've got to tell me that there's a test. Then I can then train for it. I can't just come into something and just say, oh, what's this paper? Let me just scribble everything. And then afterwards, they say, oh, by the way, have you finished your paper? What, this was a test?
Yep.
You've got to tell me to test it.
See, it's unfortunate, but this is how.
Nah, Red, that's unfair. Nah,
look, this is life. This is life. In life, you never get a warning. You never get a warning. Like, this is what it is. I'll be honest with you, like, put religion aside, put everything aside, right? This is how I legit live my life, HH. I live my life day by day. I don't overthink. I don't over like stress. Nothing on this floating rock is worth you being upset. Nothing is worth your mental health.
We're only human. There are things that will piss us
No,
off.
there are things going to be upset. They're going to upset you, but it's just like,
and being upset can be healthy. Anger channeled in the right way, it's a very, very powerful thing. Sometimes anger is healthy if it is channeled in the right way.
Emoting your emotions is 100% healthy. What I'm saying is, HH, is like while we're on this planet, like, as long as what you're doing is being productive. Like, let's say, for example, like, for me personally, I don't like, if for people that have been following me on HH's channel for the past 3-4 years or follow me on Twitter, they see, like, I don't cuss, I don't swear, I don't really yell. I've never really lost my cool. Like, I think maybe once or twice on the hangout, maybe a couple of times I spazzed out a little bit, but I've never really got angry or insulted anybody. And that's because HH, like, this is part of the nature that I've built up for myself. When I was a kid, I used to talk a lot, I used to swear, I used to for like, people don't like it. It was pretty bad. Like, but like, for me personally, is what I believe is that, like, I speak like this all the time to maintain precision, to maintain accuracy. Because if I start, let's say, for example, if you're a racist behind closed doors, or if you say these things and just put a front on for people, you can't keep that forever. That veil gets pulled off eventually. You know what I mean? So for you to maintain your character, you have to maintain a consistency, right?
So another. So you've never been racist before?
No, of course I have. Everybody has. Absolutely. I'm racist to my own people. I'm racist to Arabs more than anybody.
So, like, have you been racist to, let's say, like, Asians, blacks, or so forth?
No, I can't say that I have, like, not in the sense where I've directly hurt somebody. Jokes, maybe.
No. Let's say, like, a black guy did something like that, where you're like, man, this black piece of shit, or like he just cracks like a. Oh man,
I don't think like that, to be honest with you. I always, whenever I deal with people, I deal with them on an individual level. I never like to associate people with bigger things. I've honestly
but it's a very human thing.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Like, okay, look, I work in sales, right? And like, Muntaha knows this because I told it to Muntaha. But like, the hardest people to sell to are Indians. And I'm not saying that to be racist or anything, but they will haggle you tooth and nail. Right, like they will not, like, they want to get the best deal possible, and if you mess up just a little bit, they'll call head office, they'll call that, they want to get that deal. They're very hard, right? Which obviously I respect that, but that's not me being racist or anything like that. It's just like, culturally, we come from a culture of haggling. Arabs do the same thing. Arabs haggle the hell out of everything. Same thing with Asians. They haggle a lot. They will only buy with precision almost, right? Now that is a form of prejudice and bigotry and racism. Now it's not the same. I've never really, I'll be honest with you, HH, I never make fun of somebody's appearance. Period. I don't think that's funny. That shit's funny. When I was a kid, I would always get get made fun of based off like my red hair or me being ginger or whatever. Like, so I never found that shit
also
funny.
Look, my thing is that now, okay, I'll rather me saying this, I'll just put it out there. I'll even put it out there to the live chat. Is it being discriminatory or disrespectful by saying most Jewish people are very careful with money?
It could be viewed as an anti-Semitic trope, yes, but I don't. It depends on the context. Like, what's your overall argument? Because, like, I'll be honest with you.
No. My thing is that Jewish people that I've known or met, they're very, very specific, and they're very careful with money with regards to spending money and so forth, and they're very they're very financially conscious. So my thing is that a disrespectful thing? Because you basically
it could be.
No, okay. So because it's funny. When I was in school, it shows you how fucked up my school was. Anytime somebody was tight with money, they would say, "Oh man, don't be such a Jew. Don't be such a Jew." And so somebody was with someone, and I could remember this is a guy coming from Nigeria. So, wait, what do you mean by don't be such a Jew? Don't be such a Jew. But it was just a term that came from. But my thing is that where does that come from? Of don't be such a Jew, don't be such a Jew. Now, is that because here's the thing, it could be a thing of like, okay, you've only met a few Jewish people who, let's say, are very conscious about money, and you've now blown it out of proportion. Because, for example, Golders Green is a place in London that's very heavily Jewish. And so forth. So I remember I was just passing by this shopping place in this very heavily Jewish area. So you see like a lot of Hasidic Jews there. And I think, so, normally you have these like styles where people like scan the food and stuff.
Yep.
And this Jewish guy, he already scanned his food and stuff. And he took up the receipt, and the receipt was like really long. And he was just looking at all of the spend on the receipt. And you could see the white lady looking at the Jewish guy being like, I'm like, why are you checking it? But he just was checking the receipts to make sure that everything was in line there. And then he
absolutely, yep.
And then so forth. So, but then see, some people will view that and say, hey, all Jewish guys love money. But no, maybe it's just him in particular is like that. So my thing is that
or how about this, HH? Or let's just say, for example, it comes from like the parents teach them to be very careful with their money, to value the dollar that they work hard for. That's that like the fact that they're valuing money should not be turned as a negative stereotype just because their heritage happens to be Jewish. Like that's the thing, is like, it's almost like, the thing is with stereotypes, I do think they can be damaging, because like, let's think about it this way: just because it's a positive stereotype doesn't mean it's a good stereotype. Like, let's say, for example, the stereotype where they say like, oh, if you go black, you never go back, because all black guys. That's not a good stereotype.
No,
that is very offensive. Like, because you're essentially you're reducing that human being that's existed like for however long on this planet, that's accomplished so much, to just a physical attribute that they contributed nothing to. That's very private.
But basically, my thing is stereotypes are human beings being lazy. That's what it's you being lazy, because how you should operate is you treat every individual based on how they are. I don't act like most Nigerians, but if somebody who they met 5 or 6 Nigerians and they say, well, Nigerians are this way, so therefore I'm going to treat Asians this way, we're like, no, I don't act like a typical Nigerian, because I may come from Nigeria, but I lived in Geneva for a while. I then lived in England for a while, and so forth and everything. So yeah, I have some Nigerian tendencies, but I don't really act like most Nigerians. So a guy who maybe Jewish is that, yeah, I do come from that culture and so forth, but based on how I've traveled and so forth, it's different. So, but people are lazy. People are like, black, he must be this. Asian, he must be this. Jewish, he must be this. Eastern European, he must be this. But yeah, this is key. But yeah, we used to do this in school. Every time you did something bad in school, man, that's so gay, man. That's gay. Or don't be so gay. And gay was just seen as
I used to do that all the time. Retarded and gay. Those were my 2 terms when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, that's retarded. Oh, but you're so gay. Like, and that was just they were just synonymous with stupid and bad. Like, that's it. Like, it was stupid. Like, we would say that, but like, to be honest with you, it's just that's the power of slang and language, really. If you just see somebody that's older than you, they do that, then you'll be like, okay, so that's what's cool to say. I just want to sound like this guy, and you sort of start parroting it, and then somebody else is looking up to you, and they parrot it, and it just becomes a never-ending cycle almost. But that's why, like, I've sort of learned from those mistakes, and like I try to lead by example. Like when I talk the way I talk, I'm talking that hopefully if there's somebody that out there that does view the way I see things, and like you go like, you know what, I want to act like that. I don't like keyboard warriors. I don't like that at all. Somebody earlier in the chat, I don't know if you're still watching, I forgot who you are, but you asked if I watch MMA. I do. I actually do. I love MMA. I love the UFC. I don't like to partake inside in the actual culture online, because I feel like it's very toxic. Because like football Twitter is bad, but football Twitter is mostly jokes. But like MMA Twitter is overly aggressive, and I just don't like. I don't like getting disrespected like that. I respect everybody.
Sure. So that's what I think of this. Did you ever have any weird moments when dating girls over another race? As like, would they say something thinking it was socially acceptable to say to someone who is black, but in reality it's not? From my knowledge, no.
I have one.
I remember I was talking to. This was years ago. This must have been about like a decade ago or so forth, maybe even more. I just obviously online, and this was this white blonde girl. I just talking, and then so obviously we know we're obviously talking spicy and stuff like that. And then she then sort of said like, "Yeah, man, fuck me, you black nigga."
Okay,
I was like,
oh my god.
So then I was like, oh, whoa, okay, because obviously,
where does that even come from?
Yeah, but obviously that was obviously must have been like a turn on for her and everything of like, this black guy coming in and like, if we could just do like this whole racial thing a bit. And I was like, okay, well, that's a bit extreme. But Red, you may laugh. there are some black guys who would like that, and they would like that role play.
But it came out of left field because I expected a lot of things. I did not expect that. It's just like, where did it come from? It's just like, whoa.
Where's your story? Where's your story?
Mine's a bit more tame compared to that. Because like, we went and watched The Dictator in theaters. Back when The Dictator first came out. And I don't remember what the scene was, but the girl started laughing. And after she's like, it's funny because like, Arabs they're known for not showering that much. And I was like, what? That's a stereotype, really? She's like, I never heard it before. Like, she's like, yeah, and I actually got mad. Like, I got offended by that because, like, man, like, you can, like, when you say something about somebody, whatever, like, when it comes to like to hygiene or something like that, I got very offended by that. So she ended up apologizing. She's like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm like, the movie's not even about an Arab. Like, she's like, well, it's implied. I'm like, no. When I watch it, it's about dictators. And yes, certain countries, there's a ton of brown countries that have dictators that aren't Arab. But like, I remember that was just one thing that she said that I really, 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 really made me feel like it really, really made me feel like uncomfortable. First of all, because one, that stereotype is just an awful stereotype. Like, hygiene of all things, hygiene's number one most important. Like, and even in my religion, in Islam, like, you can't pray if you have poor hygiene. If you have masturbated, you have to shower and clean up your entire body. Just if you just masturbated, not even sex. If you use the washroom, you cannot pray in the mosque. You have to clean up in tawadda. Water is mandatory for water. Like, so, like, for me, like, it just came out of so left field that she had that opinion, and it really, really, like, it really did offend me at that point. But she did apologize. We were young. We were like 17, 18 years old. So I didn't take it to heart too much. But like, yeah, like that like when you're dating that's a big part of like interracial or like intercultural relationships. Because sometimes you could be both white, but of different cultures, or you could be both black, but of different cultures. I'm pretty sure you could probably date a girl that's probably from Brazil, that's an Afro-Latina. And like, even though she's black, culturally, she's so much different to you.
Yeah, for sure. Easily. Yeah.
So, but definitely, like, it's difficult. But sorry, go ahead. Wait, Hazard has a question.
Okay. No. I actually don't. But it was actually. Wait. Because someone actually very quickly, because someone mentioned it. Do you fear death? Are you afraid of death?
No. Not at all. Not at all. I'll tell you this. I fear death just because I do want to take care of my family, like my mother and dad. I want to make sure that they're in a good position. For me, myself, I am a single man. I have no children, so I have no really worries about legacy or something like that. And I have never in my life taken anybody's money. I've never taken anybody's rights. I've never insulted a human being. I've never bullied a human being. I've never really hurt anybody on any side. So my conscience is clear. And like, even though I may have been born of humble descent, at least I can sleep. I have a conscience where I know that my ancestors or my grandfathers that did not ever take anybody's rights. So I've not wronged anybody. And from my worldview, I feel like for that reason, I don't fear death, because I have nothing really that I've like. You fear death if you've done something wrong and you want to repent. That's really what it is. You fear death if you feel like you haven't experienced everything, or you haven't. For me personally, on this world, like, I'll be honest with you, HH, I don't like cars. I don't really care for cars. I don't really care about fashion. I don't really care about technology. I don't really care about gaming that much. I don't really like this stuff. Are fun. Like, my only pastimes is like football. Like, that's it. Just following my team, Real Madrid, and like that's. طبعا فيني احكي عربي ولا يهمك ولو بحكي عربي منيح بس so
wait, what is that? Wait.
So somebody asked if I could speak Arabic, so I just was like, of course I can speak Arabic. I speak Arabic very well, but so I don't really have that kind of fear, because I very, very much believe in my religion, and that's probably why I don't have that fear. I will tell you this, I do fear how I die, though. Because there is that kind of, because like I don't, because I know I talk a lot and I tend to be against power. I don't want to ever be tortured and waterboarded.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that. Like, if I just like just a quick gunshot, or like maybe I fall off like a building, like, I don't know, like something like that. Much easier, I guess.
So this is interesting.
Bro, Chainsaw, I'm down, bro. I'm gonna get a PS5 soon, so we can definitely do that.
Well, hopefully they can actually bring those PS5s, because I'm going to get back onto Halo soon, man. Chase the door. I'll get back to Halo. So just that Euros and Copa America, there's been no time to game. There's no time to game. So I think you said you believe in God, but not one of any specific religion. Will you look into religions in the future? So being Nigerian, I grew up Christian, and that was pretty much enforced upon me. So I didn't have a choice. And then I went to schools in England that were, of course, Christian Catholic schools. And a key turning point for me was when you would be punished if you didn't go to chapel. So you were forced to go to chapel. And my thing is that shouldn't you go to God via free will? Why should this be forced upon you? So as a teenager, being forced to go to chapel now made me resent it, and it made me resent the place and so forth. And just reading things and looking at inconsistencies and so forth, I have no qualms with anybody who follows Christianity or any religion or whatsoever. Just for me, I'm spiritual, so I believe in prayer, and I would say I'm a spiritual person. I can't be an atheist. Just for the world is too crazy and so fucked up for me to be an atheist. But again, I respect those people who are atheists. Agnostic atheists, I respect it all. But for me, the being within a paradigm of a religion, no. So for me, I just say, you know what, I have to just do what is right for me, and what is right for me is being spiritual. The whole religious thing and so forth, it didn't work for me, and it just didn't do for me. And people have said, I think even Hazm says that, look into Islam and so forth. But I'm like, you know what? I'm happy where I am. On this whole spiritual tip, man. So, yeah, man. So have you visited Spain, Red, specifically the Madrid Stadium?
I was supposed to go last summer. It was actually pretty depressing because I was supposed to go, and I was planning for it. I was going to go in September, like end of summer and beginning like when the season starts. I wanted to go watch Real Madrid play in the Bernabeu, and that didn't obviously happen because of COVID. So I spent my money on something else.
Should we watch news to keep ourselves informed on the negativity, or should we block out bad news?
No. Here's what you do, bro. Watch news, but don't take that as a single source. Take that story that you heard about and Google it to get a more expansive view. Look at both sides of the argument. Try to see things from different angles. Even if, let's say, for example, you might like how the story portrays, like you might agree with what you say. Always be a little bit skeptical because it could end up hurting your cause more than helping it.
Yeah, no, I mean, my thing is never be stuck on one news channel. One of the biggest mistakes that we had growing up was CNN was just put on.
Yeah, don't be an ideologue. Don't just follow
because CNN had such a massive marketing power. We were just consumed with CNN when we were young. But I think once you grow up, is that look at what these news channels are saying. Then go online, look at what different individuals are saying. Like a guy who I really like to listen to is a guy called Mark Lamont Hill, who is a really, really good, smart, intelligent, concise political commentator.
Mm-hmm.
So look at individuals and have different individuals' point of view. And this is something that you should train yourself to do. It may be hard, but you should try and think of doing. Try and ensure they're smart. And they're not just doing this for you, they're sure they're smart. Try and view people who don't share the same point of view as you. Even if you don't agree with them, it is healthy for your brain and your mind. Because one of the best things you can do is, okay, I don't agree with this person's point of view, but he made some interesting points that maybe I can ponder. Because what you don't want is what many people do, which is that they become very tribal, where this is my camp, this is this camp, and I will fight fully here. Like for me, it makes no sense to be fully left or to be fully right. You have to just do what makes sense for whatever the situation is. You can't apply the same ideology to every single situation that you're in. Well, Red, I saw you pointing.
Oh no, I was just reading because Wesley did ask this question a couple of times, and I just want to respond. Like, what do you think happens when we fall into a black hole? Black
hole, yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Whenever we're talking about like situations where we were essentially eliminating a certain dimension, the human mind is very limited. Like, I really think that we would go mad. Like, we won't even know what the repercussions is because you'd probably go mad. Because you guys heard of that one room in the UK where essentially it's like quiet. There's no sound whatsoever. Yeah. That one. And apparently if you sit in there for too long, you could actually go crazy. right?
That would be fucked up, man.
Yeah, because
Like
like
that just no sound.
you're removing, like, we don't realize it, but like we're created like of perfect creation to really really be able to handle the physical world that we are, to handle space, time, air, the senses that all we have. Now, once you get into like a situation where you're being sucked into, let's say, for example, black hole, where space and time aren't even a factor anymore, like I just feel like you would probably like I really feel like your brain would explode before you could even comprehend that. Even if, let's say, you were set up in like with all the equipment to really survive and breathe in space and everything, I really feel like your brain would actually just be like,
our minds will not be able to comprehend it.
yeah, like it's just
basically you just go mad. You wouldn't.
You go mad.
You wouldn't be able
really
to fully
so.
function. But that's the thing. Like I said, because this is what has tripped me up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, let's say you look at life like a piece of string, or let's say the timeline of the life is like a piece of string. So this is the beginning, and this is the end.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity might just be this, because we don't even know what may have happened before dinosaurs or before those dinosaurs came. So all this time that we're like, human beings could just be in a very, very small portion of time, because this world on Earth could have existed trillions and trillions of years ago, and it could have been land for trillions and trillions of years. So basically, it puts things into scary perspective when you just look at the specific time that we're living in, because the lifeline, like the lifeline of the human race is still not even near the lifeline of dinosaurs, if you believe in them.
Yeah, like for the amount they exist on Earth,
because dinosaurs were around for millions of years. It trips me up when you just think of human history and so forth, and just how insignificant we are to the timeline of this Earth. It's
Sorry, I'm just gonna go on a quick tangent just to answer Mazo here. Yeah, I actually have heard of him. I actually get that a lot. Sami Zayn, like, yeah, he's a Canadian. Like, you guys could Google him. Right now,
who is he?
He's just he's a wrestler, but like he's essentially like my build, like essentially the same skin color, same beard tone and everything. But yeah, he does look like me. That one I can concede. With Vlad, I will never concede. You guys are tripping. You guys just need to get a better. I need to get a better camera, really. But like, but that one I'll take.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Absolutely. I believe.
Whoa, Red. Hold up. Mm-hmm. Have you seen a ghost?
I don't think I have.
No. Have you or have you not seen a ghost? You must
no, because like the thing is, HH, like I've had like I'll be honest with you, like, because like souls, like we in Islam we believe in the jinn, right? Okay. So jinn are not like they're not exactly ghosts like in the way we believe them in Western society, right? But they are essentially the same kind of thing where they can't intervene with your life.
So when you die, you come back as a jinn.
No. You don't come back as jinn. Jinn are just all like they're not like. That's why I said like the way ghosts haunt, like how they haunt and stuff like that. We believe in jinn. They're just they're another creation by God, right?
Oh,
and we believe that 100% that they're created by God and they could affect the physical world. So you when you die, you just go to the afterlife. You are what you are. That's it. But like the jinn are something completely different. That's what the idea of jinn is the same as the idea of ghosts. Like that's the same idea that you believe in it, and that's why. And jinn can intervene with your life, HH. Like a lot of people, there have been instances where jinn, let's say for example, they will miss. Like there's an Egyptian singer, I forgot what his name was, but he never got married, and I remember they asked him, they're like. So like, why aren't you married? He was like, I am married to this jinn. And he said about how she gave him a deal. She got him a deal. She told him that he wasn't famous. She told him, I'll give you a famous melody that if you sing this melody on the song, you'll become famous. But in return, you can't marry anybody. You are devoted to me. And he agreed. And she gave him a melody, and lo and behold, he blew up. I forgot what his name is. If there's any Egyptians in the chat, he always had like he had this like rhythm in all of his songs. He had the same melody. Like they always had that same kind of melody. I need to find it. I remember watching that interview when I was a kid, but he actually said that verbatim, where like there are books where you could interact with them, and like that's why I do believe in, not like maybe the idea of just like you die and then there's a ghost of your grandma. Like maybe the jinn might play games with you.
You see, my theory on that is that I just feel it's your mind playing tricks. Is like, because we have imaginations and we dream and we daydream. So you may think that you saw a ghost, but that was just your mind believing that you saw a ghost because of how powerful the mind can be and how the mind can make you perceive things. Now that's just because I hope I don't see a ghost, because I'm not really up for seeing a freaking ghost. But like, just
I don't even know. I don't even know how I could handle it. I always think about that. Like, if I see a big bug in front of me, like I go like, okay, that looks really weird, and I trip out. But like, imagine if you just see something that's.
If I saw an alien, I think that would just screw with my mind. Like, this isn't like Independence Day where, oh my gosh, it's an alien, man, let me go and touch it. If I saw an alien, exit stage left. Do you believe in the devil?
Absolutely. Yes. The devil's right here on my shoulder right now, whispering in my ear.
The devil for me is, you have a choice, and you know that this choice you're taking is bad. I know that there is a good choice here. That bad choice is the devil. So they're going to the devil, evil spirits. There is something in us that is saying, man, if I do this is the bad thing to do, but there's the bad thing to do, but something is making me do it. That's temptation to make you do it. You can call is the devil or is the evil spirits that is putting forth a great argument for you to do so. Think of it like this, because I do watch you watch Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, of course.
Like, like Missy, it's like for Tom, whenever like Tom always has like his devil Tom and then like the angel Tom. And the Tom basically always like kicks away like the angel Tom, always like the devil Tom.
Tells him to do
But basically, it's like that. It's like basically like I think what you have is they're both trying to plead their case to either make you make the right choice or the bad choice, and the bad choice is always tempting. That's the whole point of it, because the bad choice is always much more interesting and far more tempting than the other one. Is if I really want to sleep with this girl. She's married, and I know that me doing this can actually mess up her relationship and could actually probably land me in serious trouble. But there's an urge of me that I really want to sleep with this girl. Or for me, I really want to, like, I want to not invite this guy to this party. I really want to, but I know that is wrong. But I really don't want to. So it's that temptation. So if you can fight that temptation and go to the good thing, and boom, but there's the devil or the evil spirit that is always trying to bring you down to temptation. And in every aspect of life, we are constantly facing those choices. Because again, for me, I've made wrong choices. I know I've made wrong choices. And because I fell into the temptation. And even when I made the choice, I knew that was a bad choice, but I fucked up. I messed up,
No, and the thing, see, the thing is, it teaches like you're pretty much spot on. Like it aligns with my worldview, because like, look, guys, I don't really like to refer to religion for everything, because I'm not really, not that I'm not the most religious, because I don't like to be representative of my religion, because I'm not educated enough. Like Hazim in the comments is way more qualified than I am.
Hazim is super.
Yeah, he's way more.
He's on it.
So for me, like but I do believe in my religion hardcore. I do believe that. So I do align my worldview with it. So the devil did promise God one thing, that till the end of time, he's gonna be there to make sure that man does does wrong.
Sorry, one thing that let's say because I said I'm not religious, but let's say I appreciate. I don't know the right, but what I mean appreciate with people who are religious is you have a very clear, concise direction. Basically, when I was Christian, I was like, boom, God, devil, this, that, boom. So everything was very concise. But and if I was in doubt, just go to the good book, the Bible, and then read. And then afterwards, when I just learned about Christianity, I said, okay, wait, Christianity is a very white religion. There's never been a non-white pope. Why is Jesus depicted as white with blue eyes and long hair? Then when you just look at all this stuff, you're like, something doesn't feel right here. And whenever I go into church, I just don't feel comfortable. So now I'm like figuring stuff out. So I'm like in life now. I now, because Christianity just puts everything for me into a path, but now I now have to try to figure stuff out. So you know,
No, like
um,
it is like religion does give you like sort of when you have religion, it does give you that sort of like structure, right? And you could follow it. But the thing is with religion, it's between you and God. That's it. Like you the only outside sources are just if you want to ask questions and expand on that. Before, sorry, I just want to comment that Yazur guy, like you saw a ghost, you and your brother in your. What was the comment? I didn't get to. I missed out on it. But it's all good. Like, but I do want to. Yeah, when I was a child, both me and my brother, I saw a ghost at my old house together at the same time. Like, see, that is terrifying, man. Because like at that point, what do you do? Because I believe this stuff. Like when people tell me like this, I can think, especially inside your house, like what happened? How are you still here? Because I think I would die.
But I don't get it. Okay, obviously, shout out to my man Daniel here, but
what do you do, DT?
So you believe in ghosts and spirits and demons, this and that, but you think being gender neutral is psychotic?
No,
I don't believe in ghosts, and I believe in spirits of the. See, it's complicated. It's not that I believe in spirits and demons in a physical form. I believe of it in a conceptual form of good and evil. I said I don't believe in ghosts. I think ghosts is a mind playing tricks on you. That's my thing. So I mean, Red, I don't know where you.
I mean, like I just look at it as creationism, right? Like there's other creatures. There is something like that not everything is just at face value. You know what I mean? When it comes to gender neutral, like I think it's a very inoffensive topic. I think it's more of an identity crisis where people are just trying to battle gender norms. It's just that I don't feel it's psychotic. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a strong word, but I would say that like gender neutral, I can't really just take it just at face value because you're asking to change what is. Believing in a ghost and spirits and demons doesn't change what is. You could it's just an overlapping layer. But when you're saying gender neutral, you're either man or a woman, right? If you're saying you're gender neutral, you're changing definitions because now our whole society, which is built off of man, woman, is now being changed. And like we have to be clear with our definitions, with where's the science to back this, like us being skeptical towards a new implementation to society. I don't know. Again, psychotic is a very strong word. I don't think I use it. Did you use it? Maybe H.H. used it, but like
no. I never.
I didn't. Yeah.
No. What I was saying
think
is that
it is. It's very bizarre for us to really understand.
You know, for me, my thing is that I respect you if you want to view yourself as being gender neutral. I just don't have to accept it. Simple as that. Actually, let me just change the vibe real quick. I've been last 20 minutes, so we can do we can make it to like 3 hours. Last 20 minutes. Best film you've ever seen?
Best film I've ever seen.
If you say this is the best film you've ever seen, what do you say is the best film you've ever seen?
This is actually a super tough one because there's a lot of them. Like whether it's action, like I remember, like I'm not gonna lie to you. This was when I was. You know what? This is gonna be super. But this has defined my character a lot. I used to. And this is not like. Look, this is not a film lover's answer. This is just more for your average run-of-the-mill casual take.
Yeah.
I believe what's it called? Never Back Down. I love that movie, not because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I love that movie.
But it's a simple, interesting concept that you can buy into.
Very simple, but the soundtrack slaps. Like no joke. If I were to show you my workout playlist right now, like Never Back Down is like all of it. Like it even got me into Kanye West in 2007. I was like still young. Like when I heard Stronger for the first time, that's what made me like Kanye West. I the fighting, the montage, even though I watched the Karate Kid before, but like no joke, it like just sort of changed my worldview about time. Because like for me, I've always grown up watching Rocky and boxing and karate. Then you got MMA out of nowhere. And I don't know, like that, I don't know if it's the best, but I remember like that's one. There's that. And then there's Fast and the Furious 3. Those are two movies I vividly remember being like, God damn, that movie is incredible. Like I loved it. Like ever since then, like of course I do The Usual Suspects. I think is a great movie. Just for that quote alone.
And even like Seven,
incredible. Like because somebody mentioned it, Seven. Superhero movies. If you want, actually, I'm gonna say it. The Mask by Jim Carrey
The Mask is freaking that's Jim
it's
Carrey's performance in The
incredible.
Mask is superb.
And the funny thing is, I've read the Mask comics. Sorry, I've read the Mask comics, and they're very dark and gritty, and they're very different from what the movie turned out to be. But let me tell you, when I tell you, Jim Carrey not only redefined, but also like he portrayed the character. It was sort of like the Joker with Heath Ledger. You know what I mean? How it's not like it's a Joker, but it's a whole different like take on the character, where the character is much more different. I love The Mask. I remember as a kid, actually, probably my favorite movie up until I was like maybe in the 4th, 5th grade. I think The Mask was my favorite movie.
Actually, I want to bring this an interesting one, man. I want to ask you guys about morality. Do you guys believe that morality is objective or subjective?
I mean, ideally, I feel like
it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let me start and I'll give it. See, my thing is, my morality comes from my mom. So my thing of trying to help someone in need, try and do the good thing, try and assist someone in help, that comes from my mom. So my mom, watching my mom and the teachers of my mom, growing up with my mom, she's always been about help people when you need, help people when you need. So that comes from my mom. But I do believe that there is, I would say that amongst human beings, there is perhaps a very general, broad sense of doing the right thing. That's very broad, that's within us, but it's in a very broad, simple term. I think that when it gets to the nitty-gritty, I would say that if we're talking about weighting, it is more weighted towards you being morally subjective than being objective. Because my thing is that if you just put a bunch of babies and just put them out into the wild, what they'll now do is survival instincts. So they'll just do whatever they need to do to survive. Hence, I told you, human beings are not that different from animals. It's just based on the environment that we're living in. If you just put a bunch of humans in the jungle, in the wild, so away from what we call our civilization, then they will just build survival instincts. So then this whole sense of morality and everything comes from the society that human beings have built, which isn't nature. So I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so no, I was gonna say like it is. I do believe it's a mix of both to an extent. Like I'd like to believe that is objective, and people are tainted by their environment, right? By previous bad mistakes, and I do like to believe that, but it isn't. I do think that I do believe in this world, especially in our era right now. It's become very much subjective. It's become because like, for example, HH, fidelity, like being faithful to somebody, we can all pretty much agree right here that that's immoral to really cheat on cheat on your partner, right? It is immoral, but we live in a generation where people now believe that YOLO, well, he should have taken care of her if he or she should have taken care of him, and he wouldn't have went out the relationship, or she wouldn't have went out the relationship. You know what I mean? Like they start to skew morals a little bit to suit their narrative, because we live in a world right now where people now all of a sudden they just want to justify their actions because we have options to do whatever we want. Really, like you could do whatever you want. You want to have sex, you can go pay for a prostitute. It's not even that hard to do. Like it's available. You just go on an online app. You want to smoke, you want to drink, you want to do drugs. Everything's readily available for you. There's like, it's just about how much cash you have. You could pretty much extend it. So this is where your morals get tested. Right now, people tend to really fall to temptation. That's typically that's a natural thing for human beings to do, where we fall to our temptations. But how you react afterwards, right? Now, a moral person would be like, you know what I did was wrong, and I need to repent and not do this again, right? But nowadays, a lot of people tend to justify their actions, right? And how do they justify it? By moving the goalpost, right? So, I cheated because he was never around. He was never giving me attention. He's always out with his friends. He's not like, they start shifting it because they want to find a way to make sure that this heinous act that they did is acceptable, right? And now at that point, you could call it, like, from the guy's point of view, what she did was immoral. But from her point of view, she justified it to be immoral. So in that sense, I could believe it's subjective. Now, overall, if you were to ask me as a neutral, I would be like, no, obviously what you did was immoral. And like, that's like, in morality is objective in that sense. But like, again, because of in this postmodern era where people really can't even decide on the gender they have, you really think that they're going to decide on what's right and what's wrong? Like, think about it this way. People always look at like the US as this harbinger of peace, and they save so much, right? But if you actually look at their actions overall, they have a lot of immoral activities.
No,
right?
here's the thing. No one is truly good.
Oh, yeah.
No one is truly. I mean, everyone strives to be good, but hence, and this is an example that I always use is everyone likes to sort of help someone, but no one really likes to help someone. It's like giving a homeless person some money. Now that makes you do that because you may think that, oh, I'm doing that because I'm really helping someone. You're not really helping them. You're maybe assisting them to buy a meal, a sandwich or something, or drugs or a
drink. Harm them.
Because I remember there was one time when I was looking, I was just like walking through, this was outside like a restaurant, and this lady was obviously poor, and she was crying and crying. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm poor," and I was like, "Wow, this was deep," because she was really crying and so forth. 5 minutes later, I see her just like walking normally with like a drink or something. I was like, "Ah, wow." So my thing is, if you really want to help that homeless person, give them a job, or give them access to a job and where they can now earn income in a consistent basis. Just giving them a dollar or a pound, or giving them a sandwich just makes you feel good. Like, hey, I really helped somebody because I just gave someone money. Yeah, I'm great. I'm a great person. No, that's easy. That's
not a solution. You just, but that's why. But like, we as human beings, we are flawed. We make mistakes. We make errors. We tend to, like, even like when sometimes our efforts could be misguided. Like, we were trying to be helpful or do something, and we end up causing more harm to the cause than good, just because we think that this is what people need.
But especially right to see the key things to understand is this, which is why I use the example of survival instinct. We live in, I think they said this is the most peaceful time in human history. Right now that we're living in, this is the most peaceful time that has ever existed in human history. Again, shows you how lucky this sort of generation of life is. If, for instance, we live, let's say, have you seen Mad Max?
Yeah, of course. The newer version. I haven't watched the old one in like 15 years.
It's Mad Max 2, man. Mad Max 2 is the
one. I've seen one, and I've seen the newer version that came out like 6 years ago.
Fury Road.
But I didn't watch the second one. But I know about the post-apocalyptic
Road Warrior. Especially if we lived in a post-apocalyptic world where there is no food, nothing, everything, do you think guys would be like, oh, excuse me, no, it's survival. Rape, lie, cheat, steal, backstab, and everything, because it's about to, now and then, and it's to survive.
Just to disprove what you're saying right there, because I don't agree with that, is that human beings did have that before, and we were sent almost religion, and we became civilized, and over time, and that weeded out. I don't believe that man by nature is evil or grabs. I do agree that man does want to survive.
If there was a world war, and let's say like the whole world was just screwed up, like there was like a nuclear war that just messed up, do you still believe that general morality would still exist?
If there was a world war, no, of course not. Like you see people fight when you watch the mall. When you see like when Black Friday, how people fight over TVs. Imagine if that shit's over water, or if that's over food. Like, people would kill each other. I do agree, but like those are just those are survival instincts kicking in. That's not really evil or good or moral. These are just people that are just trying to survive. At that point, moral becomes out. Moral for me is when you're in a position of luxury. How will you act? How moral will you be? But when let's say, for example, if I see a poor person stealing bread so he could feed himself and his family to survive, that's not immoral. His act is an act of survival. That's not immoral. But when it comes to this stuff,
but you can have a situation where, all right, I have enough food and resources here, or somebody is suffering here, but I can sort of share my resources with them. But because these are desperate times and you're now into survival mode, you're like, nah, I'm not going to share my resources with them, because now, do I even trust them? And I don't really know when next I'll be able to get these my resources. So my thing is that, like, true morality true morality is not when times are cushy; it's when times are desperate.
Oh, true. But like,
so that is when it's like, okay, no, this guy is truly moral. Because like if things are well and they're good, and you being moral is no skin off your back as well. But the real judge of character is you now being moral in this situation. This takes a huge amount of effort based off the situation that you're in. And my thing is that it would just be it's human beings would switch if the dynamics of the world changed. Hence why it would be very interesting to see the kinds of people who would survive if we had like a world war and resources were scarce and it was now dog eats dog. So now all I think about your money, your credit card, that means nothing. Because now it's about battery. What can I battle with? Because now money just the whole thing's of because really money, that's just notes.
Yep.
It's just paper. But if there is a war that just screws up the entire world, you now have to now think about how to not be resourceful in a whole different sense. So, because let's keep it real, we're living in a very cushy moment in time. It's really cushy. Nobody has to really survive in a very extreme sense unless you're like fully debt poor in like a third world country where, all right, those are the guys that really have to say what's up.
That's true. Yep. I've seen a lot of anime talk going on. Watch Berserk 1997, the 25 episodes.
Look, I'm still waiting for One Punch Man season 3.
Oh, that's good. Like that's to be honest with you, I can't wait either because I love me some One Punch Man. I love some like that kind of.
And I'm still reading Naruto. Like I'm on I think I'm on volume 14, man. Like those are so much fun.
The one like
the
manga.
I'm so into that stuff.
Right now. I'm still rereading Berserk. I'm fully just into Berserk. But just to give tips to anybody that's getting into it, first of all, guys, careful because that ending will mess with you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just the first one. The first.
That's good enough. It'll get you deep. But like, if you're it's very dark. So careful when you watch getting into that. 25 episodes. Watch the 1997. That's all you need. The 2016-17 version, do not watch that. That's garbage. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. Don't support it. Nothing. Nobody likes that. It's bad. Go read the book. You'll get more enjoyment than wasting your time watching that garbage. Also, Goku over Vegeta, guys. Goku over Vegeta. Self-motivation is always better.
Red. Relax. Goku over Vegeta.
Absolutely. I gravitate towards it.
You're wrong.
No. Here's
Vegeta is better than Goku.
Probably as a character because you see his development more. But like, here's the thing, HH. When you look at motivations,
Goku is a trash character. Let's keep
what?
It's trash. Goku is also always a bit trash.
Bro,
the best character it's between Piccolo and Vegeta. No,
yeah, Piccolo, of course. Piccolo is that guy. But like,
it's either Piccolo, Frieza, or Vegeta. But Goku is just the hero. As a character, he's trash.
No,
he's a great fighter. He's a damn good. Like we all love it when he goes. But as a character, he doesn't touch Frieza, Piccolo, or Vegeta. Man, come on.
When I look at Goku, it's a guy that's self-motivated. This guy has one goal in life: is to become a better fighter, and that's all he focuses on. And he moves the entire plot with him.
And he's cheesy.
Only wants to catch up. Pardon?
And he's cheesy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's why I love him. Is he's laid back, he's chill. No, he's not a hero. Goku's just a dude that likes to fight. That's the beauty of it. Is he's not a hero. He doesn't try to beat anybody. He just wants to be a better fighter. He just wants to improve himself all the time. And like I just feel like that simple message is just so effective, and he's a lovable character. But yeah, like I don't want to front, guys. I'm not like really big into like anime, and I can tell you like, oh, he's definitely the best. Like I still haven't finished Naruto, and like I'm still way early on. I'm still like on episode 12. Like,
okay, so maybe let's do this one before we get out of here. So, what is intrinsically good about helping people? Do you intuitively believe it is good, or because of societal norms? This question is more towards HH. That's a tricky one. That's a tricky one because for me, I believe that society, even when you're even when you're teaching and so forth, like we look at nursery school and so forth, If let's say you push someone or you hit someone, you teach people say, no, that's naughty. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then you get told off if let's say you steal from someone, you beat up someone, or you push someone when you're 3, 4, 5. So my thing is this, and this is why I think it's interesting. If you just put some kids free from any influence of adults and so forth, and just put them on an island, how would they operate? There's a great book called Lord of the Flies. And in Lord of the Flies, it's basically this young group of kids who are on this island. And because they get stranded on this island, and eventually they just go mad and crazy and start attacking one another based on just them being on this remote island, away from society and so forth. And they just end up going crazy and pretty much attacking each other. So my thing is, are human beings actually intrinsically good? I'm not sure. I do think that it's based off society and also influence from, as I said to myself, my morality isn't intrinsic. It's from my mom. The reason why I want to help people or do good, and I'm generally a good guy, a nice guy, is because of my mom. If not for my mom, I don't know whether I'd be a moral person or I'll be towards a good person. And I'm sure that someone showed my mom how to be good and so forth, man. So, look, man, Red,
yo,
it's been swell.
Always a pleasure, man.
3 hours of great content, man. Guys,
Facts.
hopefully,
Facts.
guys like the video, all that kind of stuff, subscribe and everything. And yeah, look, man, we'll
Definitely.
be. Hopefully, we're trying to get this stuff on Spotify, Tunes, and all that kind of stuff, man. So you guys,
we'll still like once like the Euros ends and like we have just a bit more time to breathe,
then we can figure out exactly how to because I've got everything on in audio form, all saved and everything.
And like I really do, I actually do want to get like a better camera than what, because I'm just using my laptop's camera right now. So like I literally don't like everything. I have,
invest.
So like I do want to start investing, getting a bit more quality. I also want to work on my basement. I have like the thing is I have my home gym built there, so I want to make some space and maybe move my desk down there and probably get like a proper background so we could like you guys don't just look at a plain white wall behind me. Like I swear I have some cool shit, guys. I swear I have some thanks guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, like always leave them in the comments. I try to read everything, guys. I actually do, and I try to respond to everybody. So leave us questions. We can definitely talk about this. Man, we appreciate you guys. Definitely. Right, by the way, one last thing I want to mention is, guys, respect Mbappe. This guy might be the best in the world, man. He has been incredible, man.
Let's see what he does.
I bought the jersey. I still have. I didn't get Mbappe yet because I was gonna get Benzema, but like Mbappe is making me be like, you know what? Even if he plays for France, bro, this guy is a baller. So yeah, man. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome, and man. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Peace.